Very good evening to all of you. I hope all are doing well. And now we are doing the discussion. We will do the discussion from chapter 1 to chapter 6, and it will be the revision chapter. And this is first time and very nice opportunity given by the institute to all of us that you can interact on the Zoom in the last 30 minutes. So we will open the chat at the end of 30 minutes. So 2.5 hours, I will do the discussion by giving the brief idea or brief revision from the chapter 1 to chapter 6. Along with I will do some case study. And if you have any question, our that particular chat, BOS chat is open. You can chat at that there also. I will see. But at the end, last half an hour, the chat would be open. You can discuss any question with me. So now we are starting the discussion. The GST, we basically all know that GST is indirect tax. That if I divide the taxation, I can broadly divide in two parts. One is the direct tax and one is the indirect tax. Direct tax means, like example, income tax. If I am earning the income, I need to pay the income tax to the government, that is directly, which is borne by from my own pocket. Indirect tax, suppose I'm registered in the GST, then I will collect from you and then pay to the government. What is meaning? What is mean? It means I am not paying from my own pocket. I'm collecting and just paying to the government. I'm nothing but a mediator. And we all know that GST is the indirect tax, has subsumed 17 different type of the indirect taxes in India, and it was applicable from July 1, 2017. And in Jammu and Kashmir, it was 1 week later on, it has been implemented from 8th of July 2017. Now we are starting the chapter 1, that is supply. Supply, we all know that it has been defined in the section 7. Very important, you all know that the word supply has been defined in the inclusive manner. What does it mean? We all know the definition can be started either as mean or as includes. What does it mean? Means exhaustive in the nature. Exactly what the legislature intent that give the meaning. But at the same time, if the definition is being starting with the word includes, it means they are giving the wider coverage. They are like to cover in a broader manner. So I can say if the supply has been defined in the includes manner, it means everything under the sky would be the supply provided certain condition has been satisfied. What are the conditions? We know that the first talks about that all forms of the supply such as sale, transfer, barter, 8 different type of the example. The term example, why I am using the example? Because it has been given as such as 8 different term has been given in the definition, but 2 important condition, consideration and business. By this, I can say that one transaction can be the supply provided it satisfies 2 conditions. One is in the course or furtherance of business. Second is consideration. Now 7.1b, it says that it is not material in the course of furtherance of business is not important if it is an import of service and there is some consideration. So I can say primarily there are the 2 important conditions for supply. One is business and one is consideration. But is there any exception that even though it is not for the furtherance of business, then it can also be the supply? Answer is yes. Clause B is the exception. What is the exception? If you are importing the service and consideration is there, that's it. It is not necessary whether it is in the course or furtherance of business or not. Then it says that activity specified in the schedule 1 made or agreed to be made without consideration. So it means Clause C is the exception of the consideration. It means even if the consideration is not there, it can be the supply. Which schedule we need to refer? Schedule 1. And 7.1AA, which was inserted later on, but retrospective effect, it says that the transaction between club societies, etc., to its member or vice versa will always be the supply. So we need to refer the schedule in the supply chapter. Schedule 1 is talking about supply even without consideration. Schedule 2 is talking about supply of the goods or services. It means first transaction. If it is a supply, and whether it is a supply of the goods or supply the service, it has been decided by Schedule 2. And what is the Schedule 3? No supply. That is negative list. That is neither supply of the goods nor supply of services. Correct? Raj is asking, I have the few questions which may need clarification, which while calculating the threshold limit to and whether pre-GST turnover will be included in the aggregate turnover or not. The question is not related to this chapter, but still I like to answer your question because it is clarification, doubt clarification classes is there. If I go to the definition of the aggregate turnover, section 2, clause 6, it talks about taxable supply, exempt supply, etc. It means supply within the GST regime. It will not be added in the aggregate turnover. Now, for any purpose you can say, let's move further. Now we know that Schedule 1 has the 4 activity, permanent transfer or disposal of business asset, where ITC has been taken on that asset. I'm asking one question to all of you. Kindly give me the answer. I'm asking one question to all of you. Kindly give me the answer. I have purchased the car which is up to 13-seater. I have purchased the car up to 13-seater and it is for my employee only. It is in relation to the business. And I am selling that car or I am giving the car to the NGO without any consideration. Will it be a supply or not? Please give me the answer in the chat of the BOS. You all have the BOS ICAI chat. You can give the answer. Coming back, meanwhile, we can discuss. So first para is permanent transfer or disposal. What is the disposal or what is the permanent transfer of business asset? And most important, where ITC has been availed on that asset. Where ITC has been availed on that asset. What is the second para? Second para says that supply of the goods or services or both. Remember, friend, you should always remember para 1 is only covering business asset. But para 2 is covering goods as well as services both. When we reach to the para 3, you will again see that it is covering the goods. Supply of the goods, and para 4 is talking about service. So we can say the para 2 is simply saying that supply of the goods or services or both between related party or between distinct party. Between related party or between distinct party. Distinct person. What is the distinct person? Quickly give me the answer in the chat. Thank you, Raj. You have given the correct answer because it is block credit. The answer to my previous question. What was the question? Question that I have purchased the car and that car I have permanently transferred. Should I liable to pay the GST because I have made the transaction free of cost? I have given the same to NGO. Is it permanent transfer? Answer is yes. It is permanent transfer. But whether on the purchase of the car, have you taken the ITC? So I do agree that the chapter we have not yet started, but you all know that 17.5 up to 13-seater is not allowing to take the credit of the motor vehicle. So it is blocked. It means ITC not available. So the permanent transfer is not a supply. Absolutely correct. Thank you. And the para 2, what is the related party and what is the distinct person? You all know that distinct person means one PAN and multiple GSTIN. One PAN, multiple GSTIN. So stock transfer is also the taxable supply. In the GST, if I'm transferring the stock to my branches having the different GST number, it will be the supply. And what is the related person? Related person has been defined in the GST explanation 1 to section 15, and it's calling our related person, in which I am highlighting one important transaction, one important point, that employer and employee are also a related party. Employer and employee are also related party, like director, officer, partner, and then controlling power, take a directly or indirectly control, or member of the same family, then they are the related party. And what is the meaning of distinct party? Distinct person? The distinct person means section 50. Absolutely, Lakshmi, you are absolutely right. Section 50, subsection 4 and subsection 5. Okay, 25 subsection 4 tells that if I have the one PAN and having the multiple GSTN, then they will be treated as distinct person. Correct. And now, schedule 1 para 3, 1, if goods has been supplied by the principal to the agent or agent to the principal, then it will be treated as supply even without consideration. It will be treated as supply even without. So, I was talking about, I have supplied the goods to from principal to agent or agent to principal, it will be considered as supply. It will be considered as supply even without consideration. And para 4 is talking about import of service by a person from a related person. Now, a supplier who is located out of India, a supplier who is located out of India, I have taken certain services, it is import of service. Then, if the supplier is related party or any other establishment outside India, then this import of service without consideration will also be treated as supply. So these are the 4 transaction of the schedule 1. Now I can say import of service. If it is consideration and business, yes, it is a supply. If it is consideration without business, it is supply as per 7 subsection 1 clause B. You remember, import of service with the consideration, it is immaterial whether it is in the course of furtherance of business or not, still it will be treated as supply. And if consideration is not there and business is there, will it be a supply? Then we have to refer schedule 1 para 4, which talks about if supplier is a related party or any other establishment outside India, then only it is a supply. So let's move to the schedule 2. Schedule 2 is covering various para which talks about whether it is goods or services. Can schedule 2 decide supply? Answer is no. Remember this important point, 7 subsection 1A. New subsection has been made and it says that schedule 2 decide only whether my transaction is supply of the goods or supply of services. Whether my transaction is supply of the goods or supply of the services. It means it cannot decide the supply. So there are total 7 para earlier, 1 para has been omitted, total 6 para is there. If you are transferring the title, means ownership, then it is a supply of the goods. If you are transferring the right to use, then it is a supply of the service. You are transferring the title, not now, but at a future date, then it is supply of the goods. Upon like hire purchase transaction, you are transferring the goods now, but title is being transferred upon full payment. So it means you are doing the supply of the goods transaction. Land and building, if you remember, goods ka definition and service ka definition, which talks about goods and service. Can anybody tell me that which 2 items are neither goods nor services? Can anybody tell me that which 2 items are neither goods nor services? I am not talking about supply of the goods, supply of the services. I'm talking about neither goods nor services. Give me the answer. Yes, Lakshmi has given the correct answer that money and securities are two common items which are neither goods nor services. So, and if you recall, if you're able to recall, obviously you all are doing the revision, and I know that you all have completed your all syllabus. If you talk about the definition of goods, goods means every kind of the movable property. Can the land and building be a goods? Answer is never. No. Sale of land, sale of completed building is not goods. It can only be services. It can only be services provided it come into the ambit of the schedule 2. We will discuss in the para 5 also, and we will discuss in the para 2 also. Schedule 2, any lease, tenancy, easement, license to occupy the land is a supply the service, any lease, letting out of the building, commercial, industrial, etc. For either for the business or for commerce, then it is a supply the service. Treatment of the process like a job work is a supply of service. Para 4 clause A talking about if you are transferring the goods permanently, then it is a supply the goods. If you are transferring the goods not permanently, only for other than business use, it means you are not giving the title to the recipient. You are just transferring only for certain other purpose, certain use. It is supply of the service. And para C talking about if you sell, if you supply, if you cease to be a taxable person, where any person cease to be a taxable person. So suppose I am registered person, I have surrendered my GST number. So what am I be called as? Cease to be a taxable person. And whatever the goods are there, it will be going to be supplied. But there is one exception. What is the one exception? That business is being transferred on a going concern basis. And another exception, there are total two exceptions. First exception is I am transferring on going concern basis. So going concern means I am transferring my business to the another entity with an intention not to close the business. It will be continued. Like Air India is being transferred to the Tata. It is the example of going concern. So if I am doing the business on a transferring on a going concern basis, then it is not the supply the goods. And similarly, if the business is being carried on by the legal representative, personal representative, then it will not be the taxable. Para 5, you can see the two picture. You can see the two picture. What is the difference in the two picture? You can see first picture is like under construction. Second picture is completed. Completed will cover in the schedule 3 para 5 out of GST. Under construction, it will come in the para 2 of the schedule 5, schedule 2 para 5, and it will be the supply of the service. How it is being decided? Whether I have sold the property after completion or under construction. It is being decided when the supplier received the payment. If the supplier received the payment, if the supplier received the full payment, if the supplier received the full payment, so first you decide to date CC, completion certificate, or first occupancy, whichever is earlier. And if you receive the full payment after this date, so first you take the to date CC and first occupancy, whichever is earlier. So let's say it is 1st January and it is 15th January. So you can say 1st January. And if I am a supplier and I receive the full payment from you, 100% payment from you after this date, I can say I have sold the completed building and not liable to GST. Suppose I am a supplier and you have given the 10% payment to me. I can say I have not been selling the completed building. Full amount is 100% amount is chargeable to GST. Now, schedule 2 para 5 clause A is talking about that renting is supply of the service, and construction complete complex building civil structure that we have discussed that it is a supply of the service. Then para 5 clause C. If I am temporarily transferring, what I'm transferring? IPR, intellectual property right. It is a service. Development, design, programming, customization, adaptation, upgradation, enhancement with respect to what? IT software. It is a supply of service. And agreeing to the obligation to refrain from an act or to tolerate an act or to do an situation, it will be the supply of service. My humble submission must read the circular 178. It will give the ample clarity with respect to this para. I just like to check that whether you are aware or not. I am receiving, so let's say I'm an employer and my one employee has resigned from the organization, not serving the complete notice period. Let's say my notice period is 3 months. He has completed only 1 month. So now he is paying the salary for 2 months. I am receiving, let's say, X amount on account of the notice period. Do I need to pay the GST on this? Very nice answer. All have given the correct answer for the previous question. Lakshmi, Raj, Mansa, Madhavan. Raj, I will give you a reply. I will give the reply to your question. Allow me 1 minute. Let me. Okay, Chandan has given the answer. Let me see the answer to this question and then we will discuss your point. Chandan is saying no, absolutely correct. The notice recovery will not be liable to GST, considering it is not a supply, it is merely flow of money. And you go to the study material, you will understand quid pro quo ka concept. You will understand the quid pro quo concept. Something for something. So you need to read the circular 178 and the other circular or other point which has been given in the study material. Second point, the question which is being asked by, it is not a, so your earlier question, will the pre-GST will be considered as non? The point is the GST was came into picture on 1 July 2017. So the sale prior to GST, can the GST be levied? Answer is no. It is non-taxable supply? No. Non-taxable means supply in the GST regime, but the tax GST cannot be levied on that. By which virtue? By virtue of the 9 subsection 1 and 9 subsection charging section in the GST is the 9, which we will read today, but the GST can't be levied. So that as a reason that you can say that it is out of GST. So that is non-taxable supply. So example, I can say that supply of the petrol, alcoholic liquor for human consumption, majority, these are the 1 plus 5, 5 specified petroleum product like petrol, diesel, HSD, natural, these are the point, these are the 5 transactions which are out of the GST. I can say non-taxable supply, 1 alcoholic liquor for human consumption and 5 specified petroleum product. Absolutely correct. You all have given the correct answer for my question. And Raj, it has been given by in press release also, in CBIC Twitter account also. This has been answered. This question has been answered that you are not required to add the aggregate turnover in the calculation of aggregate turnover in the GST. You are not required to add the GST turnover. So mainly the question was at the time of filing the annual returns ki time pe. This question was very prominent at the time of the filing of annual return in 1718. Do I need to add the turnover of the pre-GST return? That has been answered by the CBIC, Central Board of Indirect Tax and Custom. Answer was no. Okay. Composite supply, they are saying works contract. We know that works contract has been defined. Works contract with respect to movable property or immovable property. The answer is immovable property. Okay. And then it has been defined schedule 2, second para 6 clause be saying that food and beverages. In other words, I can say it is talking about restaurant, which is a supply of service. So 2 transactions is a supply the service. Now let's say schedule 3, negative list, which is neither supply the goods nor supply the service. Quickly we can revise employer-employee relationship, salary out of GST, para 1, para 2, court or tribunal. They are collecting any amount, service by any court or tribunal under any law for the time being in force, it is covered in the negative list. MP, MLA, okay. So any position which is being because of constitution like president, prime minister, these are not the employer-employee relationship. These are not having the relationship of employer and employee. These are position being created by the constitution. So it will be out of the GST. Service of funeral, etc. out of the GST. Sale of land and completed building. Why I am using the word completed building? Because it talks about clause B of para 5 of schedule 2. Next, actionable claim other than specified actionable claim. This is important point. You should remember that now from the 1 October 23, the amendment was made actionable claim other than specified actionable claim. Other than specified actionable claim, specified actionable claim has been defined. Lottery, betting, gambling, online money gaming, etc. Okay. So next is para 7 and para 8A, supply of the goods from a place in the non-taxable territory to the another place in the non-taxable territory. So let's say I am purchasing the goods from UK and directly supplying the goods to USA. It is covered in the schedule 3 para 7 and not chargeable to GST. Para 8A talking about supply of the warehouse goods to any person before clearance for home consumption, and para B talking about high sea sale. So goods are coming from outside India to India, and before reaching India, I have sold the goods on the basis of the documentation. It is called high sea sale, and high sea sale is also out of the GST. Now I'm asking one important question. Please try to give the answer. Interlinking of the schedule 3 with supply. Interlinking of the schedule 3 of the supply chapter with input tax credit chapter. Can you give me the answer? Can you give me the answer? Will the schedule 3 attract the reversal of ITC? Because why this question is being there? I am not paying any GST on the schedule 3 transaction. I am not paying any GST on the schedule 3 transaction. So do I need to reverse my ITC? Completely yes, completely no, partially yes. Very nice, beta. Lakshmi has given the right answer. Raj, GST department has reviewed order passing in favor of the taxpayer. Same question is under appeal by the department. I was just confirmed. Thank you. I shall find some reference clarification. Okay, Raj. Value of exempt include while reversal. Raj is giving the answer that schedule 3. It says that, so Raj, you mean to say that schedule 3 will attract the reversal? So if I have certain sale or if I have the certain supply by virtue of the schedule 3, I need to reverse my common ITC. Mansa, now you need to give me the answer. I told you the partially yes means if there is some entry which attract reversal, then you tell me the exact entry. You can't say the answer as partial yes. Reversal in the proportionate of turnover. Okay. Raj, I'm looking for your reply also, and other participant, Lakshmi, Madhavan, Mansa, everyone, kindly give me the answer. Do I need to reverse the ITC? As per now, Chandan has added one more point, rule 40 to 43. Do I need to reverse my common ITC? Do I need to reverse my common ITC as per rule 40 to 43 because of schedule 3 supply? Let me conclude the answer. Let me conclude the answer. Always do the interlinking. Let me conclude the answer. If I go to 17 subsection 3, 17 subsection 3 means know that 17 subsection 3 define the word exempt supply only for the purpose of reversal of common ITC. And if you read the 17 subsection 3 explanation say that schedule 3 will not require the reversal of ITC. Schedule 3 will not be considered as exempt supply except 2 items. Yes, Mansa has given the one item, sale of land. Absolutely correct. Para 5 of the schedule 3, it attracts the reversal. If there is common ITC, then you need to reverse the common ITC if you have the para 5 ka supply, sale of land. And one more para has been recently added, para 8A only. Para 8A. It is not high sea sale. It is not high sea sale. It is warehouse goods to any person before clearing the before clearance of home consumption. It means goods is being imported into India. Goods were lying in the custom bonded warehouse. I have not cleared for home consumption. It means I have not paid IGST, custom duty, etc. And I have supplied these goods from warehouse itself to any other person. This will not be treated as supplied by virtue of the Schedule 3. But if I have used some ITC for this sale, I need to reverse my common ITC. So always remember this para 5 and para 8A. Para 5 and para 8A will be treated as exempt supply by virtue of the 17 subsection 3, and therefore it affects the reversal of common ITC. So this I have prepared for you. You can. Last point, composite and mixed supply. What is the difference between composite and mixed supply? Composite supply means supply made by a taxable person to a recipient comprising two or more taxable supplies or any combination thereof which are naturally bundled. And one should be the principal and other should be the ancillary. So what are the conditions for composite supply? It should be two or more taxable supplies. So suppose I am making one taxable supply and one non-taxable supplies. Let's say I am making the combination of one taxable product and one non-taxable product. What is the one non-taxable product? Let's say petrol, diesel, whatever. Aviation turbine fuel, natural gases, any combination. Will this combo be called as a composite supply? Never. But remember, if I make the combo, like let's say one taxable, one exempt, will it be considered as composite supply? Assuming all other conditions are satisfied, 100% yes, because taxable supply means leviable to tax. Taxable supply means leviable to tax. For the timing, it can have some tax rate or it can have exemption also by notification. Meaning thereby, exempt supply and taxable supply ka combo can be composite supply. I may give one example. Mr. A admitted to the hospital. Okay. He is taking healthcare services which is exempted. Let's say he is taking certain medicine also, which is taxable. Medicine per se is taxable. If it is being supplied as a combo, let's say he is admitted to the ICU and he is taking one package which consists of taxable as well as exempt item. What is the principal item? The principal item is healthcare services. Therefore, entire combo would be exempted. Another example, you can refer Circular 72, which talks about interest. Interest on long-term loan advance per se is exempted. If I'm collecting, say, late fees, then late fees which is clubbed in the interest will also be exempt supply because of composite supply. You may refer circular also. You may refer this concept in detail, very well analyzed in the study material. But I have to just summarize. I've given some summary. Mixed supply, the supply which is or more supply which are not composite, then it can be the mix, provided it should be for the single price. It means something is not composite. If something is not composite, will it be the mix? Can say provided price should be single. Now, if I see the definition of the composite supply, it does not talk about any such condition. Price should be single, price should be different, no price should be there. It is not talking about. It means price may be single, may be different, or may not be any price. But ancillary item, still it is composite. But for mix, it is mandatory that price should be the single. If it is mixed, then what is the tax liability? The tax liability would be decided by Section 8, composite or mixed. Composite, we can say whatever the tax rate applicable on the principal, this rate would be applied on the entire combo. And if it is mixed supply, then highest tax rate attributable to any of the component will be applied on the entire combo. So by this, we have completed the chapter 1, composite supply chapter. Let's move to the another chapter. Meanwhile, whatever you have the question, you may give the reply in the chat. Brinda, Chandan, Abrikesh, everyone are requested to please give the reply in the chat, whatever the question I'm asking. And if you have any question, you are requested to ask the question so that I can give the reply to you. at the same time. Now let's move to the next chapter, that is charge of GST. And here I will include the exemption chapter. Here I will include the exemption chapter. So I can say this is the revision of chapter 2 as well as some extent chapter 4. To some extent, it is chapter 4 also I am covering here. Any question? Let me see. Sweet shop making restaurant service also online. Suppose when supply sweet shop for the also said online. Suppose main supplies the sweet shop. So what is your question, Raj? Should not attract reversal except sale of land. Further e-commerce applies both deduct TDS and pay for part tax. Raj, you are requested to split your question and clarify certain more. If you can give me more detail, I would be able to give the reply. So first question, basically you are talking about restaurant which sell online. Suppose main supplies the sweet shop. So, but one is goods and one is service. Okay. So what is your question? Can it be the composite supply, mixed supply? You mean to say that or something like that? You put your question in detail. I will give the reply. Late fees charged by the credit card, bank, GST chargeable. Abrikesh, we all know that as per serial number 27 of exemption notification 12 by 2017, which give the exemption to the interest, but there they have excluded the credit card, meaning thereby if there is an interest on the credit card loan, etc., the GST would be chargeable. So the principal item is taxable, so additional item would also be the taxable. Not an academic question, okay? But when we have one lecture for chapter 1 to conducted, sir, it has been, see, the lecture recorded would have been provided to all of you because I am covering the amendment part earlier also. And then the main lecture I have already taken. Okay? So you have to read that lecture only. And this is just quick revision of all the chapters. Okay. So what is the levy section? We all know 9 subsection 1, which talks about that the chargeability of the GST. The tax shall be levied called as intrastate on supply of the goods or services except alcoholic liquor for human consumption, and the value will be determined according to section 15 and at such rate. What is the rate? They are not giving the rate. They are giving the upper rate, that is 20%. We are reading the section 9 of CGST Act. So 20% the CGST and 20% is the SGST. So total maximum rate would be 40%. If you read the similar section of IGST 5 subsection 1, you will find the rate would be 40%. Value would be determined according to section 15. Actual tax rate will be given in the respective notifications. So for example, if I like to check about the tax rate, you need to refer the respective notifications. Okay. Then as per the recommendation the council and collected in such manner as may be prescribed. Okay. The 9 subsection to 5 specified petroleum product. 5 specified petroleum product, which talks about petrol, diesel, motor spirit, natural gas, and aviation turbine fuel. These are taxable at future date when the GST Council gives the recommendation. So what is the non-taxable supply? Supply which are not leviable to tax by virtue of the charging section. So 9 subsection 1 exclude the alcoholic liquor for human consumption, and 9 subsection 2 is excluding the 5 specified petroleum product. So from here, the definition of the non-taxable supply will arise. That non-taxable supply means alcoholic liquor plus 5 specified petroleum product. Then reverse charge is basically 9.3 and 9.4. What is the 9 subsection 3? 9 subsection 3 talk about government may on the recommendation of the council by notification specify the category of the goods or services or both. It means the RCM can be on goods and can be on services. I request everyone, please give me 2-3 examples of goods on which RCM is applicable by virtue of the 9.3. Kindly give me the answer that any example of the goods on which RCM is applicable by virtue of the 9 subsection 3. 9 subsection 3 is talking about the reverse charge mechanism. It can be supply the goods, it can be supply the services. I'm asking the question that give me 2-3 example of the goods on which RCM is applicable. Absolutely correct. Chandan, tobacco leaves. बहुत बढ़िया. Goods supplied by the non-taxable person? No, sir. Abrikesh, give me some example. Give me some example of 9.3 which is happening within India. Goods supplied by a non-taxable person? No. That was earlier 9.4. 9.4 was talking about, but it is now not broadly applicable in that manner. Cashew nuts is the right answer. Cotton, yes. Goods, cashew nut, tobacco, BD wrapper. बहुत बढ़िया. Very nice, Lakshmi. Very nice. So, thank you to each and every. Abrikesh, your answer is correct, but it is with respect to service. No problem. But yes, you all have attempted. So very nice. Thank you. Please be active. Kindly give the reply and also ask the whatever question you have in your mind now. Please put in the BOS chat. So whenever I will see, I will give the reply whenever I'm covering that topic. Okay. 9 subsection 3 is applicable on goods and services both. The tax on which shall be paid under RCM by the recipient if he is the supplier. Now second 9.4. 9.4 is on the recommendation of the council by notification specify the class of the registered person in respect to the supply of goods and services or both. And this is important word. If you ask what is the big difference between 9.3 and 9.4, I can say 9.4 applicable only when supplier is unregistered. But applicability of the 9.3 can be supplier can be registered or supplier can be unregistered. Suppose a transporter who is registered providing the service to any body corporate, let's say, RCM would be applicable if he has not opted forward charge. Let's say now the GTA transporter is unregistered. Still RCM would be applicable because 9.3 does not create that difference. Broadly, I am saying, we do agree we have to go in the respective line item to identify the applicability or non-applicability of RCM. But broadly, I can say 9.3 can be supplier registered and can be unregistered. But 9.4 applicability, it has to be unregistered supplier only. If the supplier is registered, 9.4 can't be applicable. Further, in the GST as of now, till 12th of October 2017, 9.4 was broadly applicable to all transaction of the goods and services, all taxable goods and services. After that, it was postponed, suspended, and then 1 October 29, the 9.4 was amended effectively 1/4/2019. They are saying that 9.4 RCM would be applicable only to the real estate sector. So as of now, I can say the 9.4 is limited to the real estate sector. You can go into the detail and then you can understand that cement 100% should be from registered party, capital goods 100% should be from registered person, and rest input and input service can be 80/20. Okay. So now move to the 9.5. We all know 9.5, it means the services which has been supplied through 9.5. So e-commerce operator will be considered as deemed supplier. So services which has been supplied through ECO and which has been notified as of now, I can say in broadly in terms of example, transportation of passenger like Ola Uber, transportation of hotel accommodation, then it is like OYO rooms, and then small carpeting plumbing like Urban Club, and fourth is restaurant like Zomato, Swiggy. These are the four transactions taxable under 9.5. It means supplier is not responsible. Mediator, e-commerce operator will be considered as supplier and he is responsible for all the transaction. He is responsible for all the transaction, all the invoices he will issue, he will pay the taxes, etc. One difference. 9.5, he is paying the tax to the government, to Zomato, Swiggy, let's say Urban Club, they are paying the taxes to the government, Ola Uber. But will it be added in the aggregate turnover of 9.5 supply? Answer is no. 9.5 made that who will pay the tax. The liability to pay the tax is shifted on the mediator. It is not on the supplier. But please note, the aggregate turnover, will it be added in the 9.5 supplier ECU? Answer is no. It will be added in the actual supplier only. I am talking about supply. Suppose I am having one restaurant and you have given the order through Zomato. Now I will give the food to the Zomato. Zomato will deliver to you. You will receive the tax invoice of Zomato. Zomato will file the GST returns. He will report this transaction. He will pay the tax. But my question is, this turnover would be added in the aggregate turnover of mediator, e-commerce operator, or actual supplier? Answer is actual supplier. It is a single supply. By virtue of the 9.5, the liability has been shifted to this person. Liability has been shifted from this person to this person. But please note, it will be counted as turnover of actual supplier, not the deemed supplier. So let's move. You have given all the answer for the goods: cashew nuts, BD wrapper, tobacco leaves, silk yarn, mentha oils. Okay. Raw cotton supply the lottery, used vehicle. Now here there is one difference. You can say if government is supplying the used vehicle, seized or confiscated goods, then it will be under RCM. But please note, if the government is, let's say, Ministry of Railway, it has been excluded. It has been excluded from the RCM notification. Therefore, I can say that Indian Railway will not be required to pay the tax. Will pay the tax. You being a recipient, not required to pay the tax under reverse charge. Supplier will pay the tax. Why? Because from the RCM they have excluded, meaning thereby it will be converted into the normal charge. They will pay the tax as a normal charge or as a forward charge. Not being a recipient will pay the tax under the RCM. Okay. And last is priority sector lending certificate. Services, there are multiple transactions, total 16. Serial numbers are there. We'll discuss broadly one by one. First is GTA, Goods Transport Agency. If the GTA provides the service to this specified category of the recipient, 7 specified category of the recipient, who are the 7 factory society, cooperative society, any person registered under GST, body corporate partnership firm, CTP, casual taxable person who are located in the taxable territory. If these 7 persons in the service of the GTA, then the transaction will come under this ambit provided. Now the GTA has the option to opt forward charge or reverse charge. Opting the forward charge, he need to give the declaration prior to one respective date, prior to start of the financial year. He has to give the declaration in the annexure 5 to the GST portal. And if he has given the declaration, means GTA will pay the tax and the forward charge. Remember these things. He can opt 5% wala, or he can opt forward charge or RCM. After opting the forward charge, he can charge 5% or he can charge 12%. 5% is without ITC, 12% is with ITC. But RCM, recipient will pay the tax and he will pay, the recipient will always pay the tax 5%. Kindly give me the answer to my 2 questions, very important. Can one GTA opt forward charge and RCM both at the same time? Can one GTA opt forward charge and RCM both at the same time? Can GTA opt forward charge and reverse charge both at the same time? Chandan, from when the supply from URD greater than 5,000 RCM? 12th October 2017. Chandan, 12th October 2017. It is applicable from 13th October 2017. Notification number 32 by 2017 has been suspended. So from that day, it is not applicable. 9.5 is not in book. I do agree, but I just given the brief 9.5. So because the one participant, Raj, has asked the question with respect to 9.5, therefore I have talked about something for the 9.5. That's it. So Chandan, Abrikesh, Lalita, Lakshmi, all have given the correct answer that GTA cannot opt both at the same time. Can GTA opt 5% and 12% both at the same time under forward charge? Answer is yes. Okay. But if he is opting 5% and 12%, anything which that GTA need to take care? Answer is yes. The reversal of common ITC, which we discussed in the 17 subsection 3, reversal of the common ITC, that will come into the picture because 5% without ITC will be considered as exempted supply. Okay. Now, however, there is two proviso. Proviso says that government, nothing contained in this entry shall apply to the GTA. Other, if the GTA provide the service to these government who is registered only for the purpose of TDS. If I am a transporter and suppose you are government and you have registered only for the purpose of TDS, under GST I am talking about, if this proviso not there, assume that if had the proviso not there, then what will happen? That government who is registered for the purpose of TDS only will be covered in the clause D. Recipient registered only for the purpose of TDS, that will be considered in the clause D, then RCM would be applicable on that government. So, however, the proviso has been given that yes, no RCM would be applicable if the recipient is only for the purpose of TDS. And second, the supplier has filed this annexure declaration in the press. See, he has opted the forward charge. He has opted the forward charge and he has given the declaration on the tax invoice. Then again I can say recipient not required to pay the tax. So these are the date which you can refer. So I told you that the exemptions and this will be clubbed together at more or less. So when I talk about if the GTA providing the service to the unregistered person, will that unregistered person liable to take registration and pay the tax under reverse charge, or the service itself would be exempted? And they are saying, except from these category, if the recipient is covered in these category, then obviously yes, it will be under RCM. And by virtue of the section 24, clause 3, recipient needs to take mandatory registration and pay the GST. But if the recipient is not in any of these 6 category, I can say, let's say the recipient is an HUF. The recipient is individual who is not doing the business, let's say, or unregistered individual who is doing the business. Then I can say that the service of the GTA would be covered under the serial number 21 exemption notification. Okay. If the service is provided, the service is transportation of goods by road, then it would be taxable in only 2 cases, by a GTA and by a courier company. Suppose if auto wala, let's say one auto wala is picking the goods from your factory and delivering the same to the customer, will the auto wala will be considered as GTA? Assume that he does not issue any consignment note, any lorry receipt, etc., any document. But will he considered as GTA? Answer is no. So will the service be taxable? Serial number 18 say that service provided by the transporter, by the transportation goods by road. And if it's not the GTA and not the courier company, then entire service would be covered under the exemptions. And second is inland waterway, it will be covered under the exemptions. Similarly, serial number 21, which talks about if the GTA provide the service for goods carriage of agriculture produce, then exempted. Suppose you may say there is one, let's say I'm doing the non-agriculture produce car transportation. Will it be exempted? No. If the GTA provide the transportation service for the agriculture produce, exempted. Milk, salt, food grain, organic manure, newspaper, relief material, defense material, then it is exempted. Otherwise, it is taxable. So similarly, if you talk about rail or vessel, then they are exempted. Okay. Serial number 19, which talks about that if you are providing the transportation of goods service by an aircraft from outside India to India, import, or by an aircraft from India to out of India, then it is like export. Transportation of goods by vessel from India to outside India, it is exempted. But please note this and this. from India to out of India by air, from India to out of India by vessel. This is now not exempted, it is taxable. Okay. But by air from out of India to India is still exempted. Why I am saying so? Because this is very important when I will discuss the place of the supply chapter, or you are deciding the taxability. You are deciding the taxability uh, for transportation of goods. Then you have to get the exemptions. Now there is no exemption by air from India to out of India, no exemption from India to out of India by vessel. Yes, exemption is now, it is there only for aircraft from India, from out of India to India. Then I can say legal service if provided by firm of advocate, individual advocate to the recipient who is located in the taxable territory, and who should be the recipient, business entity. Next, arbitral tribunal providing the service to the business entity, it is exempted. It is under RCM, and which is exempted if arbitral tribunal or firm of advocate or legal advocate, senior advocate provide the service to, suppose arbitral tribunal provide the service to the person, any other business other than business entity. So recipient is not doing the business. Service itself would be exempted even to any person, but whose aggregate turnover in the preceding financial year as make it eligible for exemption, then that recipient who is not required to take registration, then the service itself would be exempted. And if the recipient is the government, then service itself would be exempted. Make note that here we are not talking about TDS under section 51. It means it can be any government. It can be any government. It is not that they are registered only for the purpose of TDS. No, they are saying if it is a central government, state government, union territory, local authority, government entity, government authority, etc., the service itself would be exempted. Similar exemption you can read in the clause B. Similar exemption you can read in the clause C. But one difference in the B and C, here they are saying partnership firm of advocate, individual advocate other than senior advocate, and they are covering senior advocates separately. If you compare the two entries, you will find that one partnership firm of advocate or individual advocate provide the service to another advocate, another partnership firm. Service itself would be exempted, but this serial number is not available or not there in the exemption in the senior advocate. So, meaning thereby, if the senior advocate provide the service to the another advocate, would it be liable? It appear that because the exemption is not there, it will be not, it will not be exempted, it will be taxable, and taxability would be there if the senior advocate providing the service to the another advocate. But yes, partnership firm of advocate or individual advocate provide the service to another advocate or partnership firm of advocate, service itself would be exempted. And the rest exemption are same which we have discussed above. Then sponsorship services provided by any person and recipient is the body, corporate, partnership firm, etc. Then the RCM would be applicable. Certain sponsorship of the if you read the exemption, so you will find that certain sponsorship services are exempted, like National Sports Federations, Affiliated Federation, Association of Indian University, Inter-University Sports Boards, or Sport Council for the Deaf, so multiple Olympic associations. So certain sponsorship of these would be exempted and no question of RCM or forward charge. Apart from that, sponsorship services given that to the body, corporate or partnership firm, then it will be under RCM, otherwise it will be under forward charge. Then, so we can say let's take a break of only 5 minutes. Let's Ashokji, let's start the break of 5 minutes only, and we will resume at 7:05. question which is there in the chat, and then we can start the discussion once again. So Raj is saying that do e-commerce operator can deduct the TDS under section 52? Along with that, operator pay the tax under section 95. Do operator liable for only one, or operator can do both? No, only one. Either the supply would be covered under 95 or 52. It is mutual exclusive. It cannot be that I'm making the supply from one, then it will be either under 52 or section 95, depending upon the transaction. Let's say, take an example. I am providing the restaurant. I am having the restaurant and you are Zomato. If I will make the supply through you, then Zomato will pay the tax under 95. Okay. Let's say I am also supplying the ice cream. And if ice cream is being supplied through you, then ice cream which is being clarified by the CBIC that it is goods and therefore it is not covered in the 95. So depends. Prakash, even if it is for 750, so that exemption has been withdrawn. So that earlier there was an exemption up to 750 or 1500, that exemption has been withdrawn. So now I can say it is taxable. Raj is asking, individual supplier supplying security personnel covered under reverse charge. Supplier is registered. Do supplier can make the forward charge supply if the recipient, if the transaction is covered under RCM, it can only be RCM. Unless and until the choice has not been given. Like GTA, they have given the choice that GTA want, he can go for the forward charge. Otherwise, it is under RCM. Such choice is not there in the security, so it is not possible. However, we will discuss further. Renting of residential dwelling to the student hostel rent exempted under entry bar. See, that is altogether a big debate. Hostel will be considered as hotel or it will be considered as residential dwelling. Hostel will be considered as hotel or residential dwelling. Will it be covered by the exemption entry serial number 12 or not? That is the big debate. We need to wait for the means no different argument are there with respect to these transactions. Notification. Next question, Raj. Notification granting exemption supply get exempted with effect from the date of the notification, that is prospectively or date as mentioned in the notification. Subsequently, notification amend. Notification providing exemption to notification. See, it cannot be treated as clarification. Let's say I'm talking about renting on residential dwelling given to the registered person. Residential property or residential dwelling has been given to the registered person. It has been under RCM. But now it is not the clarification. It is new entry inserted. It means the day when the notification was issued and the effective date, from that date, it will be applicable. Mostly it will be forward charge, but yes, some may be retrospectively notification. Like I talked about one amendment in the Act 71AA. Okay, na? Club and membership, club to the member or vice versa. That has been retrospectively. So prima facie, if they have not given the date, it will always be prospectively. If they have given the retrospectively, then accordingly it will be treated. Principal notification is amended by another notification having no specific date, then it will be applied from the date when it has been published in the Gazette. The day when it is published in the Gazette, from that day it will be assumed to be inserted if the no date has been given. Jitesh, you are requested to discuss with the board of studies. So the new, whenever the classes would be there, respective detail will be given by the board of studies team. Do a notification amend the principal to state a clarification? No. Answer is no. It will not be clarificatory. It will be always made prospectively. I hope, Raj, you have received the answer. I think there is no other question. Chandan, I have given you the answer. The date 12th of October 2017 and 9-3 can be absolutely correct. Lakshmi and Veda. Very nice. Very nice. Now let's move to the renting of service provided by the government. It will be under RCM, except this renting of immovable property. It will be under forward charge or Department of the Postal by way of the speed post or and Ministry of Railway, it will not be under RCM, it will be under forward charge. Then service in relation to an aircraft or vessel inside or outside the pertinent, it will be under forward charge, and transportation goods or passenger, it will be under forward charge. Now the point is, see, this entry, renting of immovable property, they have inserted new serial number 5A. What is the 5A? If the government give the movable property on rent, then recipient, if registered, then it will be under RCM. Now you are requested to tell me, in which situations, government will pay the tax under forward charge on this particular transaction, that particular renting of immovable property. Renting of immovable property, then the government will pay the tax under forward charge. Consider the serial number 5A and consider the serial number 5 only. So considering both the serial number 5 and 5A, kindly give me the answer when the central government will raise the tax invoice by charging the GST for the renting of immovable property. So answer is, if they provide the renting of immovable property to the recipient who is not registered. If it is registered, then under RCM. If it is unregistered, then it will be under forward charge. 5AA, service by way of the renting of residential dwelling to a registered person. To a registered person, it will be under RCM. Then the exemption was there. If the residential dwelling has been rented to other than registered person, it means if the service of the renting of residential dwelling given to the unregistered person, will it be exempted? Then use become important. Use become important. If it is being used as residence, then only it is exempted. Otherwise, it is taxable. Then, so what I'm doing, for every notification of RCM, every serial number, I have covered the parallelly the exemption entries also. So by which we will cover mostly the exemption entry. Still may some entry are left that we will cover through one case study. Okay. Then we know that on the real estate sector, the two more entries are applicable on the real estate sector. So first 9 subsection 4 completely on the real estate sector. They purchase the goods or services from unregistered person. Then cement, it should be 100% from registered. Capital goods, it should be 100% from registered. Rest input and input service, it should be 80-20 ratio. It means 80 has to be from registered. If they have purchased from unregistered any goods or services, it will be covered under reverse charge by virtue of the 9.4. And by virtue of the 9.3, there are two more entries which is covered under reverse charge. One is the law transfer of the TDR, transfer of the development right, FSI, low risk space index, or additional FSI, or long-term lease for more than 30 years. Then promoter need to pay the tax under reverse charge. Then like if the director provide the service to the company or body corporate, company will pay the tax under reverse charge. Here there is a clarification that if a director who is not independent director, who is regular director, getting the director remuneration, if the TDS is being deducted, then TDS under section 192 is being deducted, then what would be the answer? Will it be under RCM? Will it be under forward charge or no tax? What would be your answer? I am a director of XYZ Limited. Let's say I'm getting 10 lakh rupees. So on this 10 lakh rupees, will the company pay the tax under RCM? Do I need to pay the tax under forward charge, or there is no tax at all? Kindly give me the answer. You all know the circular which has been issued, circular number 140, which has been issued to clarify this matter. Waiting for your reply. Meanwhile, Mans has asked the question that exemption given to residential welfare society with respect to availment of the service to be member, It is still available in the light. It is still available. That exemption is still available. 7500 RW Residential Welfare Association is giving to the member up to 7500. It is exempted. Absolutely, all has given the correct answer. Raj, Chandan, Lakshmi, Abrikesh. Thank you so much. And the answer would be it is covered under Schedule 3, Para 1, and no question of taxability at all. No question of taxability at all. Correct. So it will be out of GST. So they have clarified this point. Then service supplied by insurance agent to any person carrying on the insurance business, then insurance agent will provide the service to the insurance company. Company will pay the tax and the reverse charge. Similarly, recovery agent, banking company, NBFC will pay the tax and the reverse charge. Music composer, photographer, artistic, etc. The music company, producer, or the like located in the taxability will pay the tax and the reverse charge. Please note, earlier the author was also there in the serial number 9. But now for the author, they have made one new entry 9A. Why they have made new entry? Here they have given the option to opt forward charge. Always remember, if the transaction is covered under reverse charge, it will always be under reverse charge unless and until option for opting forward charge is not given in that entry. Like I have explained GTA. Similarly, in the serial number 9A, have given the option to the author. If they like to opt forward charge, they're most welcome. They have to give a declaration to the jurisdictional officer, but they can opt forward charge. It means now for other entry, let's say I am a DSA and providing the service to the banking company. I'm a registered DSA, sir, individual DSA. Service provided by me to the banking company. Can I opt forward charge? Answer is no. Even if I'm registered, then also yes. If the entry comes under reverse charge, then it will only be reverse charge. It can never be the forward charge. When it can be the forward charge? Unless and until option of opting forward charge has been given in that notification. Okay. Now serial number 10. Member overseeing committee to the Reserve Bank of India, then RBI will pay the tax and the reverse charge. Is not here. The individual DSA is being covered. Let's say I'm talking about I'm a partnership form of direct selling agent providing the service to the banking company. Will the banking company pay the tax and the reverse charge? No. Why? Only individuals DSA are covered under RCM. Then business facilitator, then business correspondent. Service has been given by the business correspondent. 1 second. Okay. Then security service. Here they are saying other than body corporate, and here they are saying registered person. It means suppose Mr. A, who is an individual service provider, security service provider, giving the service to the XYZ and company, partnership firm, CA firm, registered in the GST. If they are registered, it will always be under forward charge mechanism. No, it will always be under reverse charge. If they are registered in the GST, no problem. But I mean to say, supplier, even if registered in the GST, but if the entry is being covered in the RCM, then only under RCM. Give me the answer. Give me the answer. XYZ and company. Unregistered person providing the service, the ABC and company, and it is also unregistered, providing the security services amounting of rupees 21 lakh. XYZ and company, as of now not registered in the GST, providing the security personnel to the ABC, now let's say private limited. ABC private limited, but as of now they are not registered in the GST. What would be the answer? Will the recipient pay the tax under reverse charge by taking the mandatory registration as per section 24 clause 3, or supplier will pay the tax under forward charge, or no tax because it is between unregistered to unregistered? Very important question. I request everyone to give the reply. Very nice, Lakshmi. Waiting for your answer. No tax applicable, no tax, no tax. Oh, tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. Is there any threshold limit applicable? Is there any threshold limit applicable? Is there any concept of threshold limit? Is there any concept of threshold limit? Don't you think that if the service ka value is 21 lakh, if the service value is 21 lakh, then the supplier has to take registration and pay the GST under forward charge? I do agree that when the threshold limit crossed, then only he need to take the registration. It is a single invoice. Assumed that it is a single tax invoice, single invoice of 21 lakh. Don't you think that XYZ company cannot be unregistered? He has to take registration because his turnover crosses the threshold limit. Give me your answer. Assume that it is a single transaction and he is getting 21 lakh rupees. Don't you think because it is beyond the threshold limit, he has to take registration? Correct? He has to take registration and pay the GST under forward charge basis. Right? Fine. Thank you. When the security service will not come under RCM. First, we have discussed if it is being supplied by the body corporate. Second, if the recipient is unregistered. Third, if this service, security service has been given to the government who is registered only for the purpose of TDS. And next is a person paying the tax under Section 10. What is the Section 10? Section 10 is the composition levy. It means security service provided to the registered person, but who is registered for the purpose of Section 51, then no RCM. And second, who is registered under Section 10. It means if the recipient is composition, then also it is not under RCM. Then serial number 15, renting of the motor vehicle designed to carry the passenger, where the cost of the fuel is included in the consideration. Then who will pay the tax? If the recipient is body corporate, then they have to pay the tax and the reverse charge. Any person other than body corporate who supply the service to the body corporate and does not issue the invoice charging the GST at the rate of 12%. It means if the supplier is body corporate, will it be under RCM or forward charge? If the supplier is body corporate, will it be under RCM or forward charge? Let's say I am Abhishek Tour and Travel Private Limited. I am Abhishek Tour and Travel Private Limited. You are XYZ Private Limited. I am providing the rent-a-cab service to you. Will it be under forward charge or will it be under RCM? Will it be under forward charge or will it be under RCM? Answer, your question is not clear to me. You can ask again. So if rent-a-cab service provided by the company, it cannot be under RCM because for applicability of the RCM, it should be other than body corporate. Tell me one thing, XYZ and company, individual, providing the rent-a-cab services, very important question, providing the rent-a-cab services to the ABC Private Limited. The ABC Private Limited ka turnover is below 20 or 40. Therefore, as of now, ABC Private Limited is unregistered. Therefore, ABC Private Limited is unregistered. XYZ company has given rent-a-cab service, let's say of rupees 10,000. What would be your answer? No tax because it is between unregistered to unregistered, or RCM or forward charge. Give me the answer. Give me the answer along with the reason. See, I am saying one XYZ company, unregistered person, individual, not body corporate, individual, providing the rent-a-cab services to the body corporate, and that body corporate is still not registered in the GST, and the value is only 10,000. Outward supply of that company, ABC Private Limited, is below threshold. Therefore, that company, as of now, is not required to take registration. Now, what would be your answer on this particular transaction? No GST, forward charge, or RCM? I request everyone give the answer along with reason. Give the answer along with reason. But Mansa, in security transaction, what was the who is the recipient? Who is the recipient? Hmm. Please understand once again. Please understand once again. I like to make the comparison between two entry, security service and this rent-a-cab services. Suppose service has been given by URD to URD. Let me repeat one example. XYZ individual person, unregistered, providing the security service to ABC Private Limited, unregistered, and assume it is only 10,000. What would be the taxability? Question number 2, same XYZ individual providing the service to ABC Private Limited, and this is rent-a-cab services, and this is this is rent-a-cab services, and let's say this is security services. Tell me, it is unregistered, supplier is unregistered, recipient is unregistered. In both the case, I'm requesting everyone, please give the reply once again for both the entries. Question number 1, no tax, RCM or forward charge. Question number 2, no tax, RCM or forward charge. Kindly give me the answer along with some supporting reason if you can. Try to understand, and Mansa, why I am giving this example? Because of your question. It appears that there is slight confusion. There may be the confusion. So therefore, I am repeating this example once again, requesting everyone to give the reply for both the question. Question number 1 is for security services provided by unregistered person to the ABC Private Limited unregistered person. Example number 2, security services, same. The service here also rent-a-cab services, provider is XYZ individual, recipient is ABC Private Limited unregistered. And here there is no concept of threshold limit because I'm saying the amount is only 10,000. Thank you so much. Raj, you have correctly understand. You have correctly given the reply. Thank you so much and really appreciating. What is the answer? Try to understand. Try to understand that in first case, it will be out of GST. In first case, it will be out of GST. It means what is the word it is being written? Registered person. Whether recipient ABC Private Limited is registered at the time of taking the security services from XYZ. Tell me one thing, whether recipient is registered at the time of taking the transaction, at the time of taking the security services? Answer is no. It means no RCM. Whether supplier is registered or liable to be registered, I can say only 10,000 rupees. No, supplier is also not liable to be registered. So therefore, in this case, I can say out of GST. But if you compare the same, what the word is written in the next entry, it is not registered person. What the word is written? The word is written body corporate. So it means where they have written the registered person. No, it means recipient can be registered or can be unregistered. In my example, XYZ individual giving the rent-a-cab services, to the body corporate, will the RCM be applicable? 100% yes, because it is rent-a-cab services. Condition with respect to category satisfied. Is it other than body corporate? Yes. Supply is individual. And condition satisfied. And condition with respect to recipient is also satisfied. Why? Because they have written any body corporate. Once I can say all the three conditions are satisfied, you will bring into your mind section 24 clause 3. Means you will say this recipient is covered, is liable to take mandatory registration by virtue of the RC. And therefore, what is the answer? XYZ and individual person providing the rent-a-cab service to the unregistered body corporate. What would be the answer? It will be under RCM. Recipient has to take a mandatory registration by virtue of the section 24, and the company will pay the tax after registration under RCM. Does it make sense? Mansa and everyone? Mansa, specific to you because you have asked this question. Is it clear, everyone? Because you most of the time you are doing, it appears that you are doing this mistake. So it is very important to understand this gap between the words. What is the meaning of registered person and what is the meaning of only body corporate? How the taxability can be changed. Very nice, Lakshmi. Very nice, Lakshmi. Chandan. बहुत बढ़िया. Very nice, Chandan. Raj has given the right answer. Mansa. This is not covered in the exemption. So where I'm saying it is covered in the exemption, I'm not saying it is which entry you are talking about, Mansa. Which entry you are talking about? Which exemption you are talking about? So tell me first, Mansa, are you, so you can discuss in the last 30 minutes when we will open the Zoom, you can discuss in the last 30 minutes. You are requested to wait till that time and then we can discuss one-to-one. Okay, we can discuss one-to-one because we need to cover rest of the chapter also. So let me move to the next. The levy chapter, it also covers composition. If I talk about the composition, then broadly I can say composition are divided in two categories, 10 subsection 1 or 10 subsection 2. What is 10 subsection 1? 10 subsection 1 is the 3 persons are eligible. Either you are the trader of the goods or you are manufacturer of the goods except certain item, or you are the restaurant. I am, let's say, like to take registration under composition. I'm a teacher and let's say my turnover is crossing threshold limit 20 lakhs. Can I take registration in the composition in 10? Answer would be no, because I am not the trader, I am not the manufacturer, and in the services only restaurant was permitted. No, I can't take. But I can go for 10 to A because in the 10 to A, it is no limit. Within the upper limit, within that there is no further limit. You can provide any goods, you can provide any service, but the tax rate would be 6%. In case of the trader, the tax rate would be 1%. In case of the manufacturer, the tax rate would be 1%. In case of the restaurant, the tax rate would be 5%. And in this case, tax rate would be 6%. Here you need to understand one more point regarding this category. It is only taxable goods. That 1% would be applicable only on the taxable supplies. But in this case, and in this case, on all supplies, whether it is taxable or exempted, you need to pay this 1%, 5%, 6% on all the supplies, including exempted. In case of the trader, you need to pay the 1% only on the taxable turnover, not on the exempted turnover. What is the upper limit? The upper limit in the 10-1 is being given for 75 lakh Arunachal, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura, Uttarakhand. And then other state, it is 1.50 crore. 10 to A, what is the upper limit? 50 lakhs. Both cannot run together. It means I cannot register under both the category at the same time. Either I will be under 10-1 or I will be under 10 to A. 10 to A is starting. If you are not eligible for 10-1, then you can go for 10 to A. Chicken. This is main point I have covered. These are the item manufacturing of ice cream, pan masala, aerated water, tobacco, fly ash bricks, fossil meal, building blocks, etc. I cannot take the composition if I am doing the manufacturing of these items. Can anybody tell me similar type of the table was there in the registration chapter? Can anybody conclude or give the relevance of this table in the registration chapter? I'm talking about section 9. Here we are talking about section 10. I'm not talking about section 10. What is the relevance of this table in the registration chapter? Similar table is there in the composition and almost similar there is there in the registration chapter when we discuss section 9. What is the relevance over there? Can you tell me? And also, two points you have to give me that what is the relevance in the registration chapter? And second, what is the difference between this table and registration? What is the difference between table given in the composition and this table given in the registration? I really appreciate if you can give the minute answer, very deeply minute understanding. I request everyone to give the answer. क्या बात है, Raj has given. Raj, wow, very nice. बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया. राज ने absolutely आंसर दिया. Raj, can you give me one more answer that what is the difference here and there in the table? Is there any difference in the table or is there any like any type of the big difference when we discuss under the composition and when we discuss in the registration chapter? No, all item are there. All item are there, Raj. All item are there. Any big difference? If you go to the registration chapter and read that notification, you will find similar table is there. So what is the difference? They are talking about either you are doing the trading or doing the manufacturing. Both the cases are covered in there. It means you see what is the relevance. My first question, what is the relevance in that registration chapter? Relevance is enhanced threshold limit of 40 lakh would not be available to you. But what is the difference between this composition and the registration? Composition is talking about manufacturing is prohibited. If you are doing the manufacturing of these items, can't go under the composition. But if I'm doing the trading, I'm allowed, no problem. But over there in the registration chapter, whether you are doing the trading or doing the manufacturing, in both the cases, the limit would be 20 lakhs, not the 40 lakhs. Yes, absolutely correct. Thank you so much. Mansa, you are talking about security services. So security services given by unregistered to unregistered, no taxability now. So if the supplier is unregistered, recipient is also unregistered because in that entry they are saying registered person. So if the recipient is unregistered, no question of tax. But in the second entry they are saying recipient is the body corporate. So my answer was that it will be taxable under RC. Still, if you have the question, we can discuss in the last. So these are the certain forms is not applicable, but always remember one thing that if you like to switch From regular to composition, the last date is 31st March prior to the start of the financial year. If you like to switch from composition to regular, the last date is 31st March. You cannot go into the composition. You cannot switch into the composition from regular after 31st March. Okay. So let me move to the next chapter. The next chapter is place of supply. Let's try to understand the main important part of the place of the supply chapter. So in the place of the supply chapter, I can say the place of the supply, the four sections are there. The place of the supply, four sections are there. Give me one answer. Give me one answer. Uh, Give me one answer. Supplier is located in Delhi, and recipient is located in Maharashtra. Let's say registered in the GST registered person. Both are GST registered. Same. Okay. Registered. And by virtue of place of the supply 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, place of the supply comes to Delhi. Okay. Now Maharashtra party is saying to Delhi party, you have to raise the tax invoice in Maharashtra GST number. He's saying that I will make the payment of tax to you when my transaction is appear in my GSTR 2A, 2B. One concept is there, correct? When this transaction will reflect in my portal, then only I will make the payment of the taxes to you. Delhi party raise the tax invoice to Maharashtra. You tell me, will it charge IGST or will it charge C plus S? When Delhi party raise the tax invoice to Maharashtra party, in this transaction, place of the supply is Delhi. The recipient Maharashtra need the tax invoice in his GST number, and also is saying that the transaction should appear in the GST portal, which tax he will charge. Will it be C plus S or will it be IGST? Deepam Jain has given the answer. Abrakesh has given the answer. Let's analyze. Let me wait for another 10-15 seconds. My question is clear to all of you, right? Supplier is in Delhi, recipient is in Maharashtra, place of the supply is in Delhi, and recipient is requesting to raise the tax invoice in the GST number, which tax he will charge. Answer is C plus S. Answer is C plus S. Why C plus S, sir? If you read the definition, of interstate supply, it is given in the section 7 of IGST Act. It says that two component you have to check: LOS, location of supplier, and POS. If these two locations are in two different states, one union territory, one state, or two different union territory. If these are falling in the two different state union territory, then it will be called as interstate supply. It will be called as interstate supply. In my example, what was the location of supplier? Delhi. What was the location of recipient? Maharashtra. What was the place of the supply? Delhi. So both are in different state or same state? Same state. So is it intra or inter? Answer is intrastate supply. Let's read the definition of section 8. Section 8 says that if the location of supplier and the place of the supply are in same state, then it will be treated as intrastate. This is for goods, and similar transaction you will find for the services. Meaning thereby is the place of the supply has been calculated, has been determined by you. After that, please ignore the LOR to decide whether your transaction is intra or inter. Why I am saying so? Because definition says LOS and POS. These two location only to be kept into mind while deciding inter or intra. So I can say that once you have decided place of the supply, please remove LOR to find out which tax to be charged. These are the four sections. What is the difference in the four section? It is applicable for the goods other than import or export. Section 11 is applicable for the goods imported or exported. So it means I can say section 10 is other than import and export. It is domestic transaction, domestic supply, local sale within India, and it is import export. Section 12 and 13, what is the difference? LOS, location of supplier, and LOR, location of recipient. If both are in India, section 12. If any one is outside India, means one is in India, one is outside India, then section 13. Why we are deciding, why we are using section 10, 11, 12, 13? What is the purpose? The purpose is to determine the POS. Why we are deciding the POS? So that we can say that my transaction is inter or intra. My transaction is inter or intra. Why I am deciding inter or intra? So that I can charge CGST, SGST if it is intra or IGST if it is inter. Okay. So section 10, it is very simple. Section 10. So can you give me the answer? Now try to give me the answer. Question number 1 and question number 2. Which one is the correct answer? It is really very nice question which gives the answer that what about your concept? What is your concept with respect to section 7 and 8 and with respect to section 12 and 13? Section 7 versus 8, section 12 versus 13. If you are giving the correct answer, it is conclusion that yes, you are thoroughly clear with respect to 7, 8, 12, 13. Kindly give me the answer. Question number 1 for determining inter or intra, which location is to be ignored? A, B or C? Question number 2 for determining 12 or 13 ka applicability, which location to be ignored? A, B. Which location to be ignored? A, B, C. Will Maharashtra supplier will be able to take credit? Answer is no. So in the July 2022, they have issued one circular. CBIC has issued one circular that if it is C plus S of other state, Deepam Jain, they have clarified the ITC will not be available. Raj, question number 1, what is the answer? ABC, and question number 2, ABC. Give me question number 1 dash ABC or question number 2, ABC. Okay, question number 1 ka, okay, question number 2 ka. Abhishek, sorry, Abrikesh, absolutely correct. Neha, please kindly give the answer, beta. Kindly give the answer for both entries. Question number 1, both question number 1, question number 2. What is the right answer? ABC. And similarly, what is the right answer for question number 2? ABC. Hmm. So all have given, most of the participant has given the right answer for question number 1 for deciding inter or intra, which location to be ignored. We have discussed section 7 that LOS and POS, if both are falling in different state, then it is inter. And section 8 talking about if LOS and POS are in same state, then intra. It means we are ignoring LOR. So the right answer is B. Similarly, for section 12 and 13, which location to be ignored? I can say section 12 is applicable when LOS and LOR both in India. 13 would be applicable LOS or LOR. One is in India, one outside India. So it means I'm ignoring the place where the supply has been given. I hope it is clear. Now, section 10, it has the five, I can say six sub clauses. Let's read one by one. If clause A, where the supply involves the movement of the goods, then what is the place of the supply? Location at which the goods, movement of the goods will be terminated for delivery to the recipient. Movement of the goods will be terminated for delivery to the recipient. Give me one answer. Mr. A is from Delhi. He is going to Maharashtra. He is going to Maharashtra for, let's say, holiday purpose or any purpose. Okay. And he visited Shopper Stop. He is unregistered. Mr. A is unregistered. He has visited Shopper Stop and let's say he's done the shopping of 49,000. Below 50,000. Intentionally, I'm keeping below 50,000. And is given the address of Delhi to Shopper Stop. Shopper Stop is not responsible for making the delivery of the goods to Mr. A at Delhi location. He is making the delivery at counter only. Now tell me, the Shopper Stop supplier is in Maharashtra. Location of supplier is Maharashtra. Will he charge C plus S because it is a counter sale over the counter, or will he raise ITC imports? Will he charge C plus S or will he charge IGST when he raised the bill of Mr. A, unregistered person, giving the Delhi address, but Shopper Stop is not responsible for the movement? What would be the answer? Point to be noted that values below 50,000 and the recipient is unregistered. These 2 points to be taken care, but give me the reply. When Shopper Stop will raise the tax invoice, will he charge C plus S because it is counter sale, or will he charge IGST because he has mentioned the address? 2 points to be taken care. First, he is not responsible for making the delivery to Delhi, and second, the transaction value is below 50,000. Will it be intrastate supply leviable to C plus S, or will it be interstate supply leviable to IGST? Answer is IGST. Answer is IGST. Why, sir? Because they have inserted the new section. I think I can say clause. Section 10, subsection 1, clause 10, subsection 1, clause CA. Let's read the CA, where the supply of the goods is made to a person other than registered. If you are making the supply to the registered person, the place of the supply shall be the location as per the address recorded in the invoice. And it is saying, notwithstanding anything contrary contained in clause A and clause C. So it means I can say, if the Delhi address has been recorded on the invoice and goods is movable, we are not saying it is immovable goods. There would be the movement of the goods. The movement now it will be caused by the recipient. It means what is the place of the supply? The place of the supply would be Delhi. Location of supplier is Maharashtra. Place of supply is Delhi. So which tax would be charged? IGST. Any counter question? Any counter argument? Kindly let me know if you. I do not like to bring the trivial concept. I like to bring the concept of Rule 46. Invoice accounts and record chapter, you can check, and invoice Rule 46, there is one clause which talks about 50,000. Which talks about 50,000. So you can refer that clause. I'm not, currently I'm not just correlating. But yes, I like to bring into the notice Rule 46. I hope it is clear. Now it says that let's read further. In case of the bill to ship to model, in case of the bill to ship to model, suppose you are billing to one party and delivering to other location, other state. 10(1)(b) says, suppose the supplier is in New Delhi and he is giving the supply in New Delhi, but he is raising the tax invoice to B of Haryana. As per the instruction of B, the supplier A has delivered the goods to recipient C of Delhi. Now, to whom he is raising the bill? Bill he is raising to Mr. B of Haryana. As per 10(1)(b), it says that it will be deemed that Haryana party has received the goods and the principal place of the business of B will be considered as place of supply. In the bill to ship to model, there will be two tax invoice. One tax invoice by A to B as per 10(1)(b). What would be the place of the supply? The principal place of the B. Therefore, I can say Haryana and it will charge IGST. And for this, by B to C, what would be the place of the supply? According to subsection 1 clause A, because there is a movement of the goods, the location at which the movement terminate will be at Delhi. So when he will raise the tax invoice, Haryana, he will raise invoice by showing the place of the supply as Delhi by 10(1)(a), and therefore he will also charge IGST. 10(1)(c) talks about if there is a supply which does not involve the movement. Suppose there is any movement does not involve a location at which the delivery happened to the recipient. 10(1)(d) is talking about if there is an goods which are assembled or installed at site. Let's say I'm supplying the plant and machinery, and this will be installed at your factory premises. So let's say factory is in another state. Then that state where I'm doing the assembling of that plant and machinery. So that location will be the place of the supply, and I will raise IGST invoice because I'm in one state and factory is in the another state. Okay. 10(1)(c), where the supply has been given on the board and conveyance. Let's say I have taken certain goods during the journey. Let's say I'm traveling by train or I'm traveling by air. Let's say I'm traveling by cab. By any mode, if I have purchased the goods during the journey, then what is the place of the supply? Place of the supply will be the location at which goods are taken on board. Let's say there is a one train which is going from Jammu and Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and in between Delhi, I sit from Delhi. I boarded the train in Delhi. But let's say goods which I have purchased is boarded in the UP for entire journey. Whomsoever is purchasing the goods, the place of the supply of that goods will always be UP, the location at which goods has been taken on board. Okay. Section 11 is talking about place of the supply for import export. Very simple. Section 11 talks about import, means the location of importer would be the place of supply. Export means location outside India would be the place of the supply. Okay. Import has been defined in the GST section 2 clause 10, which talks means goods bringing into India from outside India. And export means goods taken out of India from India. Means taking goods outside India to a place from out of India to a place outside India. For import and export, two important things. That movement is important. From out of India to India, it is import, and from India to out of India, it is export. That's it. There is no other condition attached to import of the goods or export of the goods. Suppose I am exporting the goods from India to out of India. Let's say I have received the foreign currency, I have received the Indian rupees, whatever the currency is being received, I am least bothered. Why I am least bothered? Because for deciding by deciding import or export, only one thing has to be satisfied, that goods are being moved from India to out of India or out of India to India. That's it. Physical movement is important. No other condition attached to import or export. Please note, I am not saying that is it necessary for refund. Refund is altogether different provision. I'm not going into the refund part at all. I'm only saying whether my transaction will be export or not. Is it dependent upon the currency? Answer is no, not at all. Let's move to the section. Let's take another break of 5 minutes. We will resume at 8:05. अशोक जी आप 5 मिनट का ब्रेक स्टार्ट कर दीजिए एंड वी विल रिज्यूम एट about section 12 and section 13. What is the difference? Let me repeat once again. If the location of the supplier and recipient both are in India, then section 12, and any one party is outside India, then section 13. For section 13, I can say one party is in India, one party outside India, right? Now, the basic structure remains same in the section 12 and section 13. In the section 12, there are some specific provision which are being covered between 3 to 13. Specific provision are covered in 3 to 14. If your transaction is covered in the specific subsection, then the place of the supply would be determined according to that subsection. Let's say I'm talking about immovable property ka service. How to decide? That will be determined according to subsection 3. If I'm talking about transportation of goods, again, I can say subsection 8 is having the specific place of the supply provision for the transportation of goods. So you will determine according to that. So one possibility that your transaction for which you are deciding the place of the supply is covered between 3 to 14. If yes, determine the place of the supply according to that provisions. But if provision is not being covered in any of the subsection, then the place of the supply would be determined according to the general principle. What is the general principle? It says that if your transaction is B2B, I'm talking about 12 subsection 2, I'm talking about general provisions. If it is B2B, always LOR is the place of the supply. If it is B2C, the address is available in the record, then again it will be LOR. And if address is not available in the record of the supplier, I can say LOS is the place of the supply. Kindly confirm my statement. I'm saying that in this case, there would always be IGST. I can say there would always be IGST and it can never be C plus S, whether my statement is correct or incorrect. In this case, so what is this case? B2C supply where address is not available. No address available. I can say in this case, always it will be IGST and it can never be C plus S, whether my statement is correct or incorrect. If it is incorrect, kindly rectify. Raj, to your question 50 subsection 3. To your question, I'm giving the answer 50 subsection 3 because it is reversal of ITC. So Abrikesh is saying both is possible. Chandan is saying incorrect. So Chandan, you tell me what is correct. Raj, you tell me what is correct. And requesting everyone. Mansi, Deepam, Lakshmi, Mansa, sorry. Everyone, please give the answer. What is the correct? If you are saying incorrect, then what is the correct statement? The answer is it will always C plus S and never IGST. Because you are saying location of supplier, let's say Delhi. And the place of the supply is also location of supplier according to that principle. So what is that? Place of the supply is equal to the location of supply. Delhi is also Delhi. So in this case, LOS and POS both are same. So it will always be intra and it will always be C plus S. Let me read quickly all the provision. 12 subsection 3 is talking about immovable property. If the property, service of the architect, engineer, interior decorator, surveyor, lodging accommodation, the immovable property, etc., then what is the place of the supply at which property is there? And if the property is located out of India, the proviso says, if the property is located out of India, proviso says location of recipient would be the place of supply. And one more thing, explanation says, let's say property is in more than one state. Property is in more than one state, then you will apportion according to the agreement If agreement is silent, according to the provision, place of the supply rules 3 to rule 9 of IGST. Second, 12 subsection 4 is talking about restaurant, catering, beauty treatment, healthcare, personal grooming, fitness, etc. Then the place of the supply would be the place of the performance, where the healthcare services has been given, where the beauty treatment has been given, where is the restaurant service has been given. These would be the place of supply. 12 subsection 5, training and performance appraisal. If it is B2B, then location of that registered person. If it is B2C, then supply, then place of the supply will be the where the service has been actually performed. Training has been given, location of the training. 12 subsection 6 is talking about admission. Let's say I'm going to the IPL match. I'm going to see the IPL match and I'm purchasing the ticket of IPL match. So purchasing the ticket, it means admission to that event. And let's say the one company has received the contract for organizing the IPL event. It will be covered in the 12 subsection 7. Organization of an event. 6 is admission to the event. Event can be cultural, artistic, sports, education, entertainment, any event or amusement park, etc. What would be the place of the supply? Place of the event. 12 subsection 7, organization of the event. Organization, then it has been divided in 12 subsection 12 subsection 7. It says that if it is registered B2B ka transaction, then LOR would be the place of supply. If it is B2C, then actual event. If the event is held outside India, then what will be the place of the supply? LOR. Kindly tell me exactly similar provisions are there in some of the subsection. Can you tell me for which transaction the similar provision is given in any of the other subsections? Can you please tell me at which place, for which transaction, similar provisions, similar concept are there? If something is outside India, the place of the supply would be location of recipient. What was that provisions? What was that transactions where similar provision exists? No, not import of service. Answer is immovable property. In the immovable property, we have discussed same thing. If the property is located out of India, then place of the supply would be LOR, location of recipient. Right. Right, application. Right, Lakshmi. Thank you. Here they are saying if the event is being organized, then registered person, LOR, unregistered person, location of the event. If the event is outside India, then again LOR. But again, the explanation says that if it is B2C ka transaction and event is held in more than one state, you will apportion according to the agreement. If agreement is silent, then you will go to the rule 3 to rule 9 of IGST. Now, very interesting, transportation of goods by mail or courier. If it is registered person, LOR. If it is unregistered person, then that goods from the picking location, I can say, the picking location or starting location. Starting location, let's say goods are being moved from Pune to, let's say, Rajasthan. What would be the place of the supply if it is registered? Let's say this DTDC is raising the bill to Rajasthan. One party who is located in Rajasthan is saying that kindly move the goods from Pune to Rajasthan. And if the bill is being raised to Rajasthan party who is registered, what would be the place of the supply? Rajasthan. If it is unregistered, then Pune. If it is unregistered, then Pune. Why? Because 12 subsection 8 says that unregistered person, location of which goods are handed over for their transportation. I can say starting location. That would be the place of supply. Then third is proviso was there and it has been omitted. Proviso was there, it has been omitted. Now tell me, give me the answer. FedEx is picking the goods from Delhi, making the delivery of the goods to London. Question number one. If bill is, listen carefully, if bill is raised to customer located in London, bill is raised to customer located in London, then what would be the place of the supply as per section 12 subsection 8? Very interesting question and very deep point which I'm asking, which I'm trying to understand, which I am asking from each one of you. Please understand that thing which I like to highlight by this example. I am picking the goods from Delhi, delivering the goods to London. I am raising the bill to London. Tell me that what would be the place of the supply in the current date? What would be the place of the supply according to section 12 subsection 8? After this omission, what would be the place of the supply according to section 12 subsection 8? Very interesting question. I can bet on that. I can guarantee that it is really interesting question, and I am from Delhi, FedEx registered in Delhi. I am picking the goods from Delhi, delivering the goods to London. My customer is obviously unregistered because he is in London only. He is from London only. I am raising the invoice to London. Tell me what would be the place of the supply according to section 12 subsection 8. As of now, two answers, both are incorrect. As of now, two answers, both are incorrect. I'm not saying what is the correct answer. I like to understand from each one of you. My question is, what is the place of the supply according to section 12 subsection 8? The answer is because the recipient is located out of India, section 12 cannot be applied. Because the recipient is located outside India, this transaction, the place of the supply would be determined according to section 13, not according to section 12. Got my point? Now let's say if I hope you all able to understand my point, correct? Now let's say I'm saying now this bill is being raised to Delhi party. Now bill is being raised to Maharashtra party. Let's say the customer is located in Maharashtra. The bill is being raised to Maharashtra party. Then what would be the place of the supply? I can say prior to amendment, prior to omission, what would be the place of the supply? London would be the place of the supply. The place of the supply shall be the place outside India, destination of the goods. So in this case, always IGST is being charged. But now after this omission, I can say now they have the two provision only. If it is B2B, the location of that recipient. If it is B2C, then location at which goods are handed over. So Delhi. If the transaction is B2B, assuming now the FedEx is raising the bill in India, and if it is registered party, then the location of recipient. If it is unregistered party, then I can say picking location, starting location. Then passenger embark journey, transportation of passenger, B2B, LOS, location of such person, LOR, sorry. Again, passenger transportation, let's say I book the ticket from Air India for journey, passenger transportation journey. So my location, if I've given the GST number, that would be the place of the supply. If it is B2C, then the passenger were embarking on the conveyance. So again, I can say it is starting location of that passenger. Service on the board a conveyance, I can say the place of the supply would be starting first schedule point of the departure of that conveyance. Or point to be noted, not the place where the goods has been boarded, not the place where the service has been boarded. Let's say it is being boarded, not the passenger where it is boarded. It is the place, it is the first schedule point of the departure of that conveyance. It means, let's say I'm talking about the train is being started from Jammu and Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Any service given in this train the place of the supply would be Jammu and Kashmir. Telecommunication services, if it is fixed landline or this antenna, something antenna is being installed, then location of installation. If it is postpaid connection, then it is mobile address. If it is prepaid connection, then it is being divided into two parts. If reseller or distributor as per the record of the supplier, if it is being distributed through agent, if it is not there, then where the payment is being received or such voucher is being sold. If the payment is being made through e-mode, electronic mode, then I can say again location of the recipient which is available in the address of the supplier. In any other case, if it is not being covered, suppose situation is such, then if the address is available, LOR. If address is not available, LOS. Banking case, now I can say in case of the banking company, whether it will always be LOR. It will always be LOR. If LOR is not in the record, then place of the supply will be supplier location. Insurance company, whether it is B2B or B2C, it is always LOR, because in case of insurance, address where mandatory will be there. Address will be there now. So whatever the address is available, whether if it is B2B, then LOR. If it is B2C, then address recorded on the supplier in the record of the supplier invoice. In case of the advertisement, please note 12 subsection 14 is applicable if the recipient is the government. Which government? Central government, state government, statutory body, or local authority. If I am advertisement company doing the advertisement for government, and if it is in multiple state, it will be a portion. Otherwise, if it is being a portion, otherwise, if agreement is silent, then I have to refer the place of the supply rules, rule 3 to rule 9 of IGST. Moving to the section 13, again, same principle. 13 is covering section 13, section 13, subsection 3 to subsection 13. If your transaction is covered in any of the specific provision, you will determine the place of the supply according to that principle. If your actual transaction is not covered in 3 to 13, then the place of the supply would be determined according to the general principle. What is the general principle? It is very simple. If the address of the recipient is available, then LOR. If address is not available, then LOS. Now, section 13 is very important to decide the transaction of import or export. Why I am saying so very important? Because in the import of service, there are 3 conditions. And in export of service, there are 5 conditions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of all conditions, there is one condition which relates to the place of the supply. In case of the import, place of the supply should be India. In case of the export, place of the supply should be outside India. What are the other conditions? Supplier ka location should be outside India. Recipient ka location should be India, and place of the supply should be India. Export, supplier ka location is in India. Location of recipient is outside India, and place of the supply should also be outside India. And amount should come in the foreign currency. Wherever permitted by Reserve Bank of India, it can come in INR. And the last condition, the supplier and recipient should not be the mere establishment of distinct person. They have linked section 8 of IGST. There is 2 explanation, explanation 1 and explanation 2, which need to be linked for 5th condition. That we will understand in the export import chapter once again. But what is important? Suppose supplier is outside India, the recipient is in India, and place of the supply is outside India. Will it be import? Answer is no, because place of the supply should be India for import. In this case, my place of the supply is outside India, supplier is also outside India. This transaction would be out of GST. So it is very important. Similarly, let's say supplier is in India, place of the supply is outside India. So place of the supply is also India, and recipient is outside India. Assuming 4th condition and 5th condition is satisfied, will this transaction be Will this transaction be export of service? Answer is no, because the place of the supply has to be outside. But because place of the supply is India, it is not export. It is not export. This question might come in the exams. That some various time it is coming. That if whether my place of the supply is outside India, do I need, will my transaction is import, export, etc. Multiple time it is being asked. So be careful. Even all conditions are satisfied. For import, what should be the place of the supply? India. For export, what should be the place of the supply? Outside India. Okay. So quickly we can close the example. We can close all the situation if it is performance-based services with respect to goods, then the place of the supply will be the place of the performance. Okay. If the service are provided by electronic means, let's say I am located in London and you are located in India, and you need certain services with respect to computer. So what I did, I have taken the access of your computer. I have taken the access of your computer through any desk, through TeamViewer, any electronic means, and I have performed the service. What would be the place of the supply? The place where the goods are situated at the time of service. Clear? Now, the proviso says if goods are coming temporarily imported into India and then re-exported, exported again after being done the repair, etc., treatment or repair, and without being put to use in India. Important point, it is imported and exported again, temporarily imported and not being put to use India. It is coming only for the purpose of this performance. So then what would be the place of the supply? Place of the supply would be determined according to the general principle 12 subsection 2. It means location of recipient. Similarly, they are saying that 12 subsection 3 clause B, place of the performance will be the place of the supply. Clause A we have discussed with respect to goods. Clause B with respect to individuals. Let's say I'm providing the training in India and face-to-face training. Let's say I'm providing the training in Delhi and you are from London. What would be the place of the supply? Place of the performance. 12 subsection 4, with respect to immovable property, the location of that property. 12 subsection 5, it is covering admission and organization both. What would be the place of the supply? Place of the admission. 12 subsection 6 and 7 are important. It says that all the three provisions which we have discussed, performance based, with respect to immovable property, with respect to event, any transaction 12.3, 12.4, 12, 13.3, 13.4, 13.5, in all the three transactions, if it is being supplied in more than one taxable, more than one country, including India, more than one location, including India, India is taxable territory. I can say for entire transaction, the place of the supply would be India. 12 subsection 7 says, if this transaction, immovable property wala, event wala, or performance based, if it is being provided in India in more than one state, then place of the supply will be a portion according to the agreement. If the agreement is silent, in the absence of the agreement, on such other basis as may be prescribed. So you need to refer the rules. 12 subsection 8, very important. Sometimes the question is clearly asking that the service is an intermediary in the nature. Very important. Why it is important? Because location of supplier of the service will be the place of the supply. Suppose I am located in Delhi. You are located in London. You are, let's say, bike manufacturing company, and you have appointed me as an insurance, as a commission agent. Okay. I am promoting your products pan India, or I am producting. I am giving them. I am supporting in your sale. Let's say in China, in UK, in USA, multiple countries. I am providing the sale, supporting. You are raising the invoice directly for which you are giving the commission. My commission is, let's say, 10 crore. I will raise that tax invoice to you. You will give the amount in the foreign currency. Will this transaction be export? What is the location of supplier? What is the location of recipient? What is the place of the supply? I can say supplier means Delhi. Person is raising the tax invoice. Recipient would be London. And what is the place of the supply? Place of the supply would be according to section 13. And because commission is covered in an intermediary, and therefore my service ka nature is intermediary, location of supplier of the service is place of supply. So it means I can say place of the supply will be Delhi only. So because we have discussed that for export of the service, 5 conditions. Supplier is in India, satisfied. Place of the supply outside India, location of recipient outside India, satisfied. Place of the supply should be outside India. Is it outside India? No, sir. It is not satisfied. It means it become intrastate supply. It become intrastate supply because location of supplier and the location of place of supply both are Delhi, and therefore according to section 8, it become intra and leviable to C plus. Sometimes the direct question coming that the Mr. A has provided the commission services to outside India, receiving the foreign currency, which tax it should charge, will it be export or not? Answer is no, it will not be export. Why? Because place of the supply should be outside India. But according to 13 subsection 8 clause B, it is India and therefore it can never be export. Similarly, it is away clause A, service supplied by the banking company to the account holder, service consisting of hiring of mean of transport including yachts but excluding aircraft for a period of 1 month. 13 subsection 9 talking about transportation of goods. So it is very simple. The destination of the goods will be the place of the supply. It means if I am picking the goods from Delhi, delivering the goods to London, the place of the supply would be London. If I'm picking the goods from London, delivering the goods to India, the place of the supply would be India. But point to be noted, 13 subsection 9 has been omitted. 13 subsection 9 has been omitted. It means now it will be covered by 13 subsection 2. General principle means the person to whom you are raising the bill, that would be the place of the supply. Now, from where you are picking the goods, where you are delivering the goods, it is irrelevant. It is irrelevant. What is the relevant? To whom you are raising the bill, address is available. Yes, that location will be the place of supply. 13 subsection 10, passenger transportation service, exactly same, where the passenger is embarking on the conveyance for a continuous journey. 13 subsection 11, exactly same, the schedule point of the departure. First schedule point of the departure of that conveyance will be the place of the supply. 13 subsection 12, OIDAR. It is very important. In short, I am using the word OIDAR. What is OIDAR? Online Information Database Access Retrieval Services. What is OIDAR? OIDAR means the service which has been rendered through internet, not possible through without the absence of the internet. And there is one amendment that earlier that definition of the OIDAR is covering the word is incorporating the word minimum human intervention, essentially automated and minimum human intervention. That word has been omitted. It means now it is not necessary. Essentially, should be automated. Essentially, it should be without not possible through not possible without the absence of internet. If it is that element is there, means the service which is being rendered, which is being possible only through internet, that will be the OIDAR. And if it is OIDAR, then what would be the place of the supply? LOR, location of recipient. No problem. Problem is in the explanation. It says, let's say I'm giving you one example, Mr. A from Delhi, Mr. John from USA. And they are providing the service to Mr. John. A is providing the service to Mr. John. John, who is actually from USA, but will be deemed to be located in India. Mr. John, who is actually from USA, but will be by deeming provision, he will be considered as Indian resident person. He will be considered as Indian party. Any of the two non-contradictory conditions are satisfied. It can be with respect to payment, whether payment has been made from Indian bank, whether a telephone has been of +1 +91, address has been given of India, or payment has been made through any wallet which is being issued bank. So any of the condition is being, any of the two condition, IP address is of India, any of the two condition are satisfied, then the person who is actually belongs outside India, but he will be deemed to be India. And what is the place of the supply? India. So this transaction of Mr. A, OIDAR transaction, even though he is giving to outside Indian party, but this transaction would be not export of service by virtue of the POS. Okay. So by this we have completed the place of the supply chapter. So last is the government, the 13 subsection 3, residuary power of the government. If the government has the to prevent the double taxation or to avoid the taxation, they can fix the place of the supply as effective use. So as of now, 2 notification has been issued. One is covering the research and development services with respect to pharmaceutical sector. They are saying place of the supply would be the location of recipient. And second is MRO services. MRO services means they are saying maintenance, repair, and overall services. So, 3 notification. Maintenance, repair, and overall services. First, they have given with respect to aircraft, and then they have covered the ship and other vessel also. So, maintenance, repair, overall services. Even though the services, let's say I am having the contract with British Airlines. Let's say I'm having the contract with British Airlines. What is the contract? When British Airline company is landing in Delhi airport, then my company will provide the maintenance services. So my company is raising the bill to the British Airlines, let's say out of India. Amount is coming in Indian foreign currency, no problem. All condition of export of service are satisfied, but the problem is because I'm providing the place of the performance in India, then basic principle 13 subsection 3 clause A, if the performance is in India, then place of the supply would be the place of the performance. That was creating the problem. Therefore, government by using the power, they have issued the notification. They are saying the location of recipient would be the place of the supply with respect to aircraft, ship, and vessel. So by this, we have completed the place of the supply chapter. I hope you are. If you have any question, you can ask. What about SEZ? What about SEZ? Abrake, sorry, I have seen your question after 10 minutes. So kindly write your question once again. I will give the answer. हाँ कर दीजिए, अपन म्यूट कर दीजिए. So you can ask the question. You can ask the question. You can unmute yourself and ask the question. The class would continue till 9:30 because there is 2 more chapter I have to complete. One is the time of supply chapter. One is the value of the supply. I have to complete these 2 chapters, and then I will. Meanwhile, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Now this facility is open to you. You can unmute yourself and ask the question. Raj, agar if you are making the capital goods ka supply after 5 years, if it is with consideration, it will be the supply. No applicability to the 5% reversal. Absolutely correct, because it is after 5 years. But the tax will be paid on the transaction value.
Sir, Abrakesh.
Yeah, Abrakesh.
My question is regarding a place of supply for export. 13, as you told that if it is supply is in India and recipient is also in India, then it is not an export. So what about SEZ, supply to SEZ, which is in India?
For SEZ, there is a special provision, SEZ Act. Okay. It says the SEZ has a special provision. Because of the SEZ Act, physically they are in India, but they are deemed to be located out of India. So if I'm making the supply to the SEZ unit, it is zero rated supply by virtue of the 16 subsection 1 of IGST Act. And therefore, all equivalent benefit which is available to the export will be available to the SEZ supplier also. Supply to the SEZ unit.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So next chapter, you can unmute. Whenever you have the question, you can unmute and ask the question. No problem. I will give the reply. But meanwhile, let me complete the time of supply chapter. Time of supply, it has 3 sections. Section 12, Section 13, and Section 14. 12 would be applied for goods. 13 would be applied for services. And 14 would be applied in case of change in the rate of the taxes. Let's first read Section 12. Again, Section 12, subsection 2 for forward charge, subsection 3 for reverse charge, subsection 4 for voucher, 5 other, 6 other. We will discuss. 12 subsection 2, time of supply for the goods, which talks about that list earlier of the below date would be the time of supply. What is the date of invoice, or last date to issue the invoice, or third is date of payment. But this date become redundant, inapplicable by virtue of the notification 66 by 2017, dated 15th November 2017. It says that for supply of the goods, remember only forward charge, that it is not relevant. This payment is not relevant. This date is not relevant. If you are registered in the regular category, making the supply of the goods under forward charge. So it means if I am not registered in the regular category, let's say I'm composite dealer, benefit is not available. Let's say I'm making the supply of the service, benefit is not available. It means I need to pay the GST on advance also. So recently they have made certain amendment, online money gaming, which is goods. Now it is taxable. So they have carved out certain amendment in the notification 66 that for the notified category, it can be treated as a taxability can be at the time of advance. One example is online money gaming will be taxable at the time of advance. Okay. But normal point 12 subsection 2 says, if I am making the forward charge ka supply, I am registered under regular category, then date will be ignored. It means the date of invoice or the day or last date on which invoice is required to be issued, whichever is earlier. Up to 1,000, you can defer the taxability. Now in the goods there is no more relevance because of this notification 66. But yes, it is still same provision are there in the services. So this point is important. This notification is still applicable or not still applicable, is also applicable for section 14. What is section 14? That we will discuss later on. See, that this notification I am giving you 66, and also I have highlighted red color. What is the amendment? Other than the registered person making the supply of specified actionable claim. So specified actionable claim we have discussed in the schedule 3: lottery, betting, casino, gambling, horse racing, lottery, online gaming. Okay. Now reverse charge. In case of the reverse charge, the 3 dates are relevant. First is date of receipt of the goods. Second is date of payment, and third is invoice following 30 days. Following means 30 days after the day. After the day. It means I can say plus 31 days. Invoice plus 31, or you can say following 30 days means 31st day. 31st day, that earlier, whichever is earlier will be the time of supply. Date of receipt of goods first. Date on which payment is being received. Now it means payment is being made, not received, because here we are talking about RCM. So suppose I have received cashew nuts from agriculturist. He has supplied the goods to me. It has been received on 1st April. I have made the payment on 15th March. Now RCM applicability will be arise on 15th March itself, or date following 30 days. So date of issue of the invoice. Do we need to see the self invoice? No, sir. It will be the always supplier invoice or any other document, whatever the name call it is being issued. So that will be considered as a transaction for 30 days. Now let's do the service forward charge. The service ka forward charge says that time of supply if the invoice has been issued within time as per section 13. So when you read the section 13, you will find that normally the invoice for services has to be issued within 30 days. And in case of the banking company, it is 45 days. And there is 1 quarter also, that if you are doing the transaction with a distinct person, insurance, banking company, etc., you can take the advantage of 1 quarter also. For that, you can read section 31. But I am saying that if the invoice has been issued for services within time, what is the time limit? Invoice or payment, whichever is earlier. Please note, if you have received the advance payment, you need to pay the GST at the time of advance. If the invoice is not issued within time, then date of the provision of service or payment, whichever is earlier. Effectively, I can say, if I have invoice issued, let's say after 30 days, after 45 days, as per the applicability, this grace period 30 or 45 or 1 quarter would not be available, and I need to pay the tax the day when the service has been rendered. And if invoice has not have been issued at all, then it means supplier probably have the malified intention. He has not issued the invoice at all. So probably you can't determine the time of supply according to the supplier books. You have to go to the recipient books, and when he books the entry, when he shows the receipt of that particular transaction, that date will be considered as my time of supply. See, this time of supply of the supplier is decided based on the recipient ka receipt entry. Receipt of not receipt entry of not books, not payment, receipt of services. It means when the recipient pass the expense entry, that date will be my time of supply. So in case of the reverse charge, I can say in case of the reverse charge, so what is the 3 date of payment? You all can unmute. If anyone have any question, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. I will give the reply at the same time. Now you can stop the question on the chat. So earlier you were asking the chat. So also the Zoom chat is also available. You can ask in the Zoom chat also. If you not like to speak, you have been permitted to chat also with me. You can chat, you can unmute, whatever the mode you feel comfortable, you can do that way. So this is the new facility which has been started by the Board of Studies. It is really appreciable. So you can use that facility and directly interact. I will give the reply to your question. Third is in case 13 subsection 3, in case of RCM for services, the date of the payment or invoice following 60 days. It means 61st day, 61st day. Okay. And that one, if you are unable to determine the clause A and the clause B, then what would be the time of supply? The time of supply will be the date of entry in the books. One entry, if the supply to the supply by associated enterprises located outside India, let's say, then the time of supply will be date of entry in the books or date of payment, whichever is earlier. So concept of 60 days would be redundant in case of the associated enterprises. 12 subsection 4 and 12 subsection 5 and 12 subsection 6 is exactly similar for section 12 as well as section 13. So therefore, I have given the highlight 12 subsection 13, 4, 5, 6, both are same. 12 subsection 4 is for the time of supply for the voucher. If it is identifiable, date of the issue. If it is not identifiable, date of the redemption. 12 subsection 5, if it is not possible to determine the time of supply by virtue of any provision, whatever the provision we have discussed, then time of supply will be the if the periodical return is applicable. Suppose I am filing the GSTR 13 on monthly basis, or I am QRMP taxpayer, so quarterly basis I need to furnish. Then the date on which the return is to be furnished. In any other case, the date on which actually tax is being paid. Last is whether any provision is having the time of supply based on the actual receipt. See, I know that if I have issued the invoice, I need to pay the GST. But on accrual basis, whether I have received the payment or I have not received the payment. But 12 subsection 6 or 13 subsection 6 is the provision which talks about the time of supply according to the not issuance of the invoice. It is linked to the actual receipt of money. When I am receiving the money, then only the time of supply will be triggered. When it is 12 subsection 6 or 13 subsection 6, it is applicable for late fees, penalty, interest for delayed payment of consideration. So I am issuing the invoice to you, 1,000 rupees. I need to pay the GST on 1,000 at the time of issuance of the invoice or whatever the provision. But let's say I am having one more provision that if you not make the payment within 30 days, I will levy the penalty of 100 rupees. This 100 rupees ka taxability would not be on accrual basis. It will be on date of receipt. When I am receiving the payment from you, then only I need to pay the GST. Last, 12 subsection 12 subsection 6 And 13 subsection 16, and last time of supply, CRT, change in the rate of the taxes. What are the provision? The shall be determined in case of the goods or services have been, so they have divided into parts. Clause A, supply is being made before CRT. Clause B is saying supply has been made after CRT. So there is one shortcut also, which I have explained in the regular classes. You can refer that class. You will find one shortcut. You will find one shortcut for section, for remembering the section 14 ka provision. It will take 10-15 minutes to explain. So here I am skipping that, but I request how to remember section 14. I have given you the one shortcut. To issue on SPOM portal. So sure, sir. I will take care of this point during the discussion only. I will discuss. Sure. In case of the goods or services have been supplied before CRT, an invoice has been issued and the payment is being received after, then what is the answer? Whichever is earlier will be the time of supply. Where the invoice has been issued prior, but payment is received after, then date of issue the invoice will be the time of supply. And where the payment has been received before and invoice is being issued after, then date of the payment will be the time of supply. Again, I can say, please refer the main lecture to understand the shortcut of this section 14. Here, I can only read the provision. In case of the goods has been supplied after the CRT, payment is being received after, but invoice has been received prior. So what is the time of supply? Date of payment. Invoice and payment is received before, then whichever is earlier. If invoice is after and payment is before, then time of supply shall be the date of issue of invoice. Remember always, in case of the goods, the advance is not taxable by virtue of the notification 66. And what I have highlighted, notification 66 is also applicable in CRT provision. So effectively, what can I say? That CRT is very limited for goods, is mainly applicable for services. Indirectly, I am saying, try to analyze why I am saying so, because advance on goods is redundant. This proviso is important. If the payment is the credit in the bank account is after 4 working days, then rate of change in the, let me repeat once again. Normally, the date of receipt of payment will be earlier of below 2. Date, when I receive the payment, what is the date? This date will be earlier of below 2. Shall be the date on which the payment is entered in the books of account and the date on which the payment is credited in the bank account, whichever is earlier. The date when it is entry. So I have passed the entry, but I have received the actual amount, let's say after 2 months, whichever is earlier. So the date of receipt of payment will be considered whichever is earlier. Entry ka date, receipt entry, or actual payment, whichever is earlier. But this will not be applicable in one case. When it is not applicable, if it is CRT case and payment is being received after 4 working days from the date of CRT. What is the meaning of CRT? Change in rate of taxes. Then the date of receipt of the payment shall be date of credit in the bank. It means whichever is earlier wala concept will not be followed. Okay. By this, we have completed time of supply chapter. Let's move further.
Sir, Abrakesh.
Yeah, Abrakesh, please.
Sir, you told that you have discussed that shortcut in the main lectures. Main lectures means what? Matlab, which lecture?
So it has been probably,
Recorded?
I think, recorded lecture.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Requesting everyone. Please.
Raj is right. No.
Yeah, Raj. Kindly ask.
So can you tell me the next for the schedule which is uploaded? Like chapter 7 you would be taking, right? What are the other important chapters you would be taking so far?
So you can, all recorded lecture has been made available to you.
No,
So it will
I'm
be
not saying recorded lectures, but live sessions which you are gonna take. On what
live
topic it
session.
might
Three
be.
classes are there. So three classes would be there. You can check the schedule.
Okay, so finally I will check the schedules, but would you insist on some areas which you should study? Like I haven't studied POS, right? So I wasn't able to answer for that. But few areas which you see necessary to study before attending your any lecture, live lecture.
Okay.
Am
So
I
I
clear
think
on that?
the voice is not too much clear actually. I would request, can you please chat? I am not able to completely understand. So as of now, I have understood that you mean to say that when my next live lecture is there, is it? Uh, Raj, you can say yes or no. My next lecture would be on 22nd. Probably would be on 22nd. Okay.
Am I audible, sir, right now? Yeah,
हाँ,
clearly
completely better.
audible.
One,
Yeah,
1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute only.
effectively. Audible, I can clearly.
So now audible. Please tell me.
No, I was asking, prior to your chapter, is there something I should be watching? Like
You should
chapters
watch.
are there to
You
the
should watch
recorded
complete
lectures.
recorded video, complete recorded, which is being provided by the BOS.
Okay, you would be taking only revision at that time, right?
Currently revision only for November 24
Yes.
batch. Complete currently revisions only.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, please raise that query of self-service, self-paced online module to the
That I will do.
concern authority.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you.
Sure.
And so one more query was that what material we should be referring for paper 6?
Paper 6 means indirect tax paper.
Yeah, in integrated business studies, what should be taking? Like for
I know about the GST only, sir. I can help you
no,
only.
I just want suggestions from you. Ki what should we take with us in paper 6 for indirect taxes?
Only study material is more than sufficient in my view.
All the study material will be hefty things to take. Okay.
We are trying to provide some some sort of the PowerPoint presentation, which you can refer for revision also. But I would suggest that only study material is sufficient. Like you like to do the fast revision, just go back at the every chapter. There is some flowchart or diagram is there. Superb. I can say superb. Frankly speaking, you will not find such type of the PowerPoint, such type of the flowcharts, which will quickly help you to revise the entire chapters in some
In fact,
pages only.
refer Saransh also.
Saransh
Because it's
also. Achha, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am has told that there is a Saransh is also available. You can refer that all.
and in fact, I would like to address the special self-paced module query which student has asked just now. I think Raj is there, na? Raj has asked a query regarding self-paced module that he's not logging because face is not matching in the camera. For that, you have to update your photograph on the this self SSP portal.
No, it's not
Okay.
that it's not matching. It's matching, but the issue is if I'm not seeing the camera while it's matching, it's sending me back. So I have to come again and then see it in camera first for a second and then.
Okay. So in that case, you can write to Mr. Anuj. You can write your query and that would be addressed. Or you can refer to FAQs also. If any such issue has been addressed there, that would also help you in that.
Oh, there is no
Otherwise,
such issue in FAQ as such, but technical assistant team. So I have tried
No
to
FAQ
communicate,
is-
but the phone was busy.
Yeah, actually, we are receiving so many queries with regard to this. Yesterday itself, it became live. So you can try it afterwards. Your query will be addressed.
Ma'am, Brakesh, it's regarding self-paced module, ma'am, when the classes will be started?
Please restrict your query to indirect tax laws only. Only such one query was there. So we address that so that you don't face the problem.
To
Unless
whom
you
should
can
I
address.
address?
Sorry?
To whom should I address this in that case? This self-paced module query.
Self-paced module. Actually, some contact number must be given. Some customer helpline number must be given
We
there.
are also not aware, ma'am. Sorry. Anyway, I'll talk to them
It would
again.
be available soon. It would be available soon. There you can address.
Okay. Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So please proceed.
So now we are moving to the value of the supply chapter. So broadly, I can say value of the supply chapter, which about section 15. 15 subsection 1 says that the transaction value would be the taxable value. 15 subsection 1 says transaction value would be the taxable value except two cases. If you are doing the transaction with the related party, you cannot apply the transaction value. You should go to the rule 27 to 31. There is a rule which you need to refer. Second is that if you are doing the transaction having the non-monetary consideration, then also you cannot apply the transaction value. Then you need to refer the rule 27, 28, 29, respective rules is there. Then 15 subsection 2 says that please add 5 things in the value. So if you are receiving the 5 things, that should be added in the value, and on the total value GST need to be charged. What is the value? In short, I can say first is taxes. Second is any amount which I'm collecting from the recipient. Sorry, if any amount which the recipient has paid, but I am liable to do the same. Means supplier is responsible, but the amount is being paid by the recipient, and to that extent, the amount to that extent I have excluded from the value. Then 15 subsection 2 clause B says that please add in the value. Clause 3, clause A, we have talked about this, taxes. Clause B, the payment is being made by the recipient and excluded from the value. Clause C is that incidental expenditure. Let's say I'm supplier and you are saying, sir, kindly send the goods along with good packing. I will pay you to you. Or you are also saying that, sir, kindly arrange the transportation. I will pay you. So I am raising the invoice for goods. Also, I am adding the incidental expenditure, loading, unloading, packing charges, etc. That will be added in the value. Always remember, section 15 only saying add in the value. How the taxability would happen, that will be decided by section 8. So that combination would result into the composite supply or would result into the mixed supply. That depend upon the taxability. Suppose it is result into the composite supply. My principal item is exempted in the GST. Entire combo would be exempted. So 15 subsection 2 says only the inclusion. Will it be taxable or not? That will be decided by section 8. It means combo, is it result into the composite or mix? That will decide the taxability. And clause D, which talks about interest or late fees for delayed payment of any consideration. Just now we have discussed that interest or late fees will be added in the value by virtue of this. When it will be taxable, the time of supply provision tells that when you receive the payment, at that point of time, you need to pay the GST. Time of supply will be triggered. We have discussed in the 12 subsection 6 and 13 subsection 6 that this interest, late fees, penalty for delayed payment of any consideration will trigger the time of supply on the actual date when you are receiving the money. Subsidy, which talks about that subsidy, if it is by government, it will not be included. If it is other than government, it will be added in the value. Raj, you can unmute and ask if you have any question.
Like we are collecting toll tax from the recipient, but the toll tax is the liability of recipient. We are just collecting on behalf of recipient.
Toll tax is the liability of recipient. Okay.
We are collecting on behalf of him and are paying. Like we are providing passenger good services or passenger travel services to a company for their transportation of their employees.
Okay. And you are paying toll tax and you are collecting toll tax, and which is the responsibility of recipient only, which I am collecting.
So whether GST will applicable on that or not?
The answer would be, if you are working in the pure agent capacity, that you know easily, the rule 33 I am referring. So if I am only working as a pure agent capacity, I am incurring the expenditure which I am collecting on actual basis. And as you told that this is the responsibility of the recipient only. If you can satisfy all the condition of rule 33, I can say it will not be included in the value as per the rule 33. The 15.2 will not come into the picture.
So, but as per 15.2A, it is a tax, right? Other than tax for GST. So would the contract be overriding 15.2A?
See, rule 33, I can say if I am working in the pure agent capacity, then rule 33 will prevail. It will never be added in the value.
But it won't be prevail over the section, na, sir. The section is very specific about 15(2)(a) that any other tax for any other tax
Any taxes
under law for timely enforced other than this act. So the section will be having prevailing power over rule. So
see, I am not the point is this part. I can say levied under any law. See, I am making the supply to you, and on this supply there is levy of any taxes. What can be the example? You can say the example of let's say tobacco. I am the tobacco dealer, and because I am the tobacco dealer, there is a excise duty applicability, there is a GST applicability. On this supply itself, there is taxes. Then I can say this supply which is taxable, which is having the other taxes also, then I will add in the value. You can take the example of import of goods also. I am importing the goods. On import, I am paying the custom duty, I am paying the social welfare cess, I am paying the IGST. So on this transaction, there is a levy. So on this transaction, there is no levy. Whatever I'm saying, say I'm providing the transportation services, there is no levy. It is only the additional expenditure which I'm paying on your behalf and which I'm collecting. So is it a tax levied under any law for the time being enforced other than this act? So I mean to say this particular transaction to be looked on the supply angle, not any taxes which I'm paying.
okay, so I just got to know that the last line is also there if charged separately by the supplier. Which is exactly charged separately by the supplier. Okay, they are not levying it, they are only collecting.
They are not levied. Correct. In my view, it will be only if it is levied. Like you say that, for example, if you refer the circular 76 issued by the CBIC, in which they have issued the corrigendum and given the answer regarding the income tax. So in TCS is also one of the taxes which I am collecting, but it is not levied. It is only the collection. So then they have issued the corrigendum where they are saying it is not being levied on the transaction, therefore it will not be added in the value because it is merely you are collecting for some other purpose. So similarly, I can say if I am providing the passenger transportation services, I am collecting some expenditure in the name. So basically it will not be levy on that transaction or on that service, not be added. To you.
Yeah, sir. It's clear.
Fine. 15 subsection 3 is having two parts, clause A and the clause B. It says that value the supply shall not include the discount. It means the discount will not be added in the value. Clause A says that if it is given at the time of supply, it means I am issuing the invoice and discount has been properly recorded in the invoice. Say, let's say I'm making the supply of 10,000 and discount has been reduced. So let's say 2,000 ka discount I have given to you. So the GST would be charged on 8,000. Basically what I'm doing, I'm excluding the discount from the value. Clause B is saying after the supply. So it means I have given the supply of 10,000. I have charged the GST on entire 10,000. Now the question is, I'm giving the addition some discount because of any reason. This 2,000. They are saying that if you satisfied below condition, then discount will be excluded in the value. The question comes, sir, I have already raised the invoice of 10,000. How the discount would be excluded in the value? Then we know there's a concept of credit note. Credit note will reduce my tax liability. So here I can say that if I am satisfying the condition, okay, that we will discuss, then I can issue the discount ka credit note by charging the GST. It means if I'm issuing the GST credit note, indirectly I am reducing my taxable value. So earlier I have paid the tax on 10,000. Now I am paying the now I am issuing the GST 2,000 ka discount ka credit note. Then I can say 10,000 minus 2,000. Effectively, I am paying the tax on 8,000. What are the conditions? Condition number 1, that it should be established in terms of agreement, and agreement has to be there on or before the supply. Second is ITC, which is attributable to the discount, has been reversed by the recipient. And one more condition, that it should be linked to the relevant invoices. If all the three conditions are satisfied, yes, you can say that I, supplier who is giving the discount, can issue the GST credit note. So these are the rules which you can refer in detail, but in short, I will explain. Rule 37, value of the supply where consideration is not completely in the money. So it says that clause A is talking about open market value. Okay. If open market value is not available, then you can say because it is non-monetary consideration. So the monetary consideration you have given, I will apply one formula, monetary consideration plus whatever you have given non-monetary consideration, equivalent money value I will add. Third, if it is not possible to determine any of the clause, then I will go identify the like kind and quality product, and then according that value I will apply. And then it has two proviso. It has the proviso that let me go. If it has the proviso that suppose, for example, one second, that if the let me read the clause D first. Sorry, let me read the clause D. If the value is not determinable under clause A, clause B, and even the clause C, then I can say sum total of the consideration in money and such further amount in the money that is equivalent to the not money as determined by the application of the Rule 30 and Rule 31. First is open market value. If open market value is not available, then I will apply one formula, total consideration which you are given in the money plus equivalent money value of the non-monetary consideration. Third, if it is not possible to determine, I will go in like kind and quality. If it is not possible, I will apply the Rule 30 and 31. The definition has been given. Now the Rule 28. Recently, there is an amendment in the Rule 28. Rule 28 has sub-rule 1 and sub-rule 2. Sub-rule 1, I can say that open market value first. Okay. So when it will be applied, if you are doing the transaction with a distinct person or a related person. Okay. Open market value. If the open market value is not available, then like kind and quality. If value is not determinable under clause A or B, then I will apply the Rule 30 and Rule 31. What is the Rule 30? Cost plus 10%. What is the Rule 31? Residual method. Okay. Then proviso are there. First proviso says if goods are intended for further supply as such by the recipient, then let's say A is making the supply to B and B making the supply to any other party as such. Okay. Then I can say the B who is making the supply to unrelated party, not this product, like kind and quality product. Whatever the price he is charging, I will take that price. Or I can say I will take the 90% of that price. It is very, very typical to calculate. He is making the supply of product X. How to determine the value of the product X according to this proviso? If B is making the further supply as such, then we will identify first unrelated party. Okay. Then second, we will identify the like kind and quality product. So let's say product Y is like kind and quality product. It is being sold to the unrelated party. At which price it is being sold? Let's say it is being sold at 200 rupees. Then we will take the value of product X 90% of 200. Okay. Second proviso, very, very, very important, where the recipient is eligible for full ITC. Then the value declared in the invoice shall be deemed to be the open market value. Let's say I have raised the invoice by showing rupee 1. It means rupee 1 will be considered as deemed to be the open market value, deemed open market value. It means rupee 1 ka invoice is also okay. But the problem is the recipient should be eligible for full ITC. So we have to raise the invoice at open market value. The proviso says whatever the value declared in the invoice, it has been considered or it will be treated as open market value. Correct. Regarding the clarification, they have issued one circular 199 cross charge versus ISD. Cross charge versus ISD, they have beautifully defined this particular Rule 28 second proviso. In which, like, I can give an example. Let's say I am having one pen, multiple GST. One GST number is giving the support service. Let's say one head office having the one GST number, giving the support service to the branches. So there was a problem. They are saying that value declared in the invoice shall be deemed to be the open market value. Let's say I have not raised the invoice. HO has not raised the invoice at all to the branches. So might be there is a problem. If the value is not declared, then how it will be interpreted? Circular 199 has clarified that no, there is full ITC available and no invoice is being raised. it will be treated that nil value ka invoice is being made. Means no invoice will be equal to the nil invoice. It means there is no penal consequence for this type of the non-compliances where ITC is available. And they have also clarified that employment cost will not be added in the value. Suppose we know that after the GST, the head office is doing the GST compliances for entire company. Okay, so company has 20 GST number. So the GST return ka filing is being made by the HO. So HO, if they are doing the GST compliances, then will they have to raise the tax invoice because it is a cross charge? So that has been clarified by the circular 199. If it is only employment cost, then it is not be added in the value, not be included while cross charge. And subsection 2, subrule 2 is saying in case of the corporate guarantee, it will be deemed to be the 1% actual consideration or 1% of the amount, whichever is higher. So rule 29, again, I can say that it is applicable to the principal and agent, open market value 90%, or if it is not possible, then like and quality product, and then 30 and 31. Only difference that in the rule 28, there is a second proviso where it's full ITC available. That proviso is not here in the rule 29. Rule 30, I have already explained rule 30. Rule 32 is basically the margin method. Rule 31B, you can refer online money gaming, and rule 31C, you can refer that actionable claim in case of casino. Only point I like to highlight in both the rule, I like to highlight only one point, that whatever the value of the token, money, etc., I have purchased, that will be the value for the purpose of GST. It means, let's say I'm a player and I'm depositing 1,000 rupees to the casino for playing the casino. Then entire 1,000 would be taxable. So the GST would be on 1,000. Point number 1. Point number 2, they are saying, suppose 1,000 is being converted into, let's say, 1,200 because I have won the game. I won the game and I have received 200 rupees as a profit or 200. So that money is still lying in my account with the casino. That addition in the value will not be chargeable to GST. Whenever I am depositing the new amount, then only it is taxable. If there is a value addition and I'm using the value 1,200 rupees in the next game, then 1,200 would not be taxable. The additional 200 would not be taxable. Till that time I'm not depositing the new amount, the taxability will not arise. The rule 32, there is a valuation on the margin method. In the rule 32, they have discussed 4 transactions: foreign currency, buying or selling of the foreign currency. You can pay the GST only on the margin method, and there is one lump sum method also. Lump sum method means up to 1 lakh rupees. You need to pay the GST on 1% of the gross amount or 250, whichever is higher. If it is 1 to 10 lakh, then 1 lakh ka 1%, 1,000 plus additional difference 0.5%. If it is more than 10 lakh, then it is 5,500 is being fixed. 1 lakh ka 1,000 and difference 9 lakh ka 0.5%, 4,500. Total 5,500 and difference 0.1%. Subject to the maximum of 60,000. So then the next business which they have discussed, that air ticket or air travel agent. Rule 32 sub rule 3, they are talking about the air ticket travel agent is booking the air ticket. Then if it is domestic booking, then 5% of the base fare, and international booking, it is 10% of the base fare. Okay, life insurance business. So in this rule 32, one thing is clarified. So the insurance which is term insurance, like only covering the risk, that will not be covered in the rule 32 sub rule 4. Which insurance covered? Which is like endowment plan, like which is covering the risk as well as investment. And we know that GST will not be leviable on investment, it is only on the risk. So out of one premium, how the risk component would be determined? So they are saying that if it is a policy where the investment is intimated, how much premium, let's say I am paying 10,000 rupees, out of which 2,000 is covering the risk, covering the investment. So the balance 8,000 would be toward the risk, and it will be taxable. Suppose it is a one-time single premium, then 10% of the premium. So I have taken the insurance from the LIC for 10 years. I need to pay 1 lakh one-time payment, no payment further. They will assume that 1 lakh ka 10%, that is 10,000 is toward the risk, and on that they will charge the GST at the rate of 18%. Third is, in all other cases, they are saying 25% of the premium in the first year, and subsequent year they are saying 12.5%. So you might heard that the GST is 4.5% in case of insurance and 2.25% in second year onwards. It is not the GST rate. It is basically the effective tax rate. How it is being determined? The GST would be on 18% on 25% of the premium. So 25 multiplied by 18, it will comes to 4.5%. So you are paying the rupees 100 as a premium, let's say first year. How much GST? It will be the 4.5%. How is we calculated? Rupees 25 is the taxable value and 25 by 18%, it will be the 4.50. Next year onward is the half. It means 2.25%. In case of buying and selling of second-hand goods, yes, there is a margin method. You will pay the GST only on the margin. If the margin is negative, no GST. Okay. And there is one proviso which talks about defaulting borrower. Yes, you can value the goods repurchase from the defaulting borrower. Let's say one ICICI bank. Okay. One car loan has been given. Let's say car loan has been given of 10 lakh rupees to Mr. A. And after 1 year, he has stopped the payment. So ICICI Bank has made the recovery of this car. Then what could be the cost? Suppose he has sold the car, he has sold the car in the 8 lakh rupees. On how much portion they need to pay the GST? So the selling price minus costing would be the difference. So for costing, will it be outstanding loan? Will it be actual value? What could be the costing? What could be the value? Which will be the cost? And that will be reduced from the selling price to arrive at the margin. So they are saying the basic concept, 5% per quarter, I need to reduce, 5% per quarter, I need to reduce. So the balance value will be the date from the date of the purchase till the date of the disposal. And then this reduced price after 5% per quarter, okay, I will compare with my selling price. So rule 33 pure agent, the expenditure or the cost incurred by a supplier as a pure agent of the recipient of the supply shall be excluded from the value if all the conditions are satisfied. So this is a toll tax is, in my view, Ras, that is merely the expenditure because it is not the tax which is leviable on my transaction. Simply, I have made certain expenditure which I am recovering from you. And if it is in the pure agent capacity, then it will not be leviable. So it will not be added in the value. So what is the condition? Supply acts as a pure agent and he make the payment to the third party on behalf of the supply has been separately indicated, or for procured by third agent are in the addition to the services supply. So there has to be the one principal to principal transaction. Let's say I am making the transportation passenger service to you. In addition to that, I am also making the payment of toll tax, which I'm collecting in the actual amount. I'm not making any margin. I'm not making any profit. And this is being collected separately indicated in the invoice. And I am not responsible. You are the responsible. So if all the things are satisfied, then I can say, yes, the expenditure or the cost which I'm collecting from you will not be added in the value.
So further, the invoice value will be taxable value plus GST and separate toll tax.
Invoice will be the taxable value, then
plus,
tax
plus GST on that. Let's say the taxable value is 1,000, GST on that is 1,800, and 180, and the toll tax is 100 rupees. So it will be the invoice total value is 1,280.
Right.
So
or I can make the two step. Invoice value will be
more. Basically, it will be more, and it will be not only the taxable value plus GST. Okay.
Correct. A multiple example. It could be the multiple example now, right?
Okay.
So correct.
And the one more issue was that of disposition of asset, as you said that if with consideration we are doing, it is a supply. But if we are doing without supply and 5 years has been lapsed.
Without consideration, you mean to say?
Yeah, disposition of asset without consideration.
No. Okay. So you are supplying after 5 years.
Yeah. After 5 years we are supplying, and it's a disposition of asset. After 5 years, so do that minus 5% quarter which we do.
Correct. 18.6 you will apply. You will reduce 5% per quarter.
So it will be 0 basically.
0.
So it won't be or any step value. Okay, this is zero or step value which you will have.
Correct,
If
correct,
we
correct.
are
So suppose, but if you are a, sorry,
if without if it is without consideration, then it will be zero now. It will not be a supply.
it will be zero. It will not be supply.
Done.
But suppose if your question is not capital asset, let's say I'm talking about let's say it is a normal stock and it is being sold after 6 years without consideration. It is being given, distributed free of cost without consideration after 6 years. Still, you need to pay the GST because of the Schedule 1 Para 1, provided you have taken the ITC. Am I clear?
On what supply will be on what value?
See, that is open market value. You need to see. See that simply
It
Rule
doesn't have a
27
value,
says.
then it doesn't amount to any value after 6 years. Then it will
Then
be
you-
zero.
If you are saying that it does not have any value, let's say,
Yeah.
then it will be zero. But provided it says that if you have taken the ITC, then only this question will come.
Okay.
Otherwise, that will not also come. See, I'm saying capital goods is there, then you will apply the concept of 5 years.
Yeah.
But, and also whichever is higher will be paid. Correct. In the capital goods, 18.6 has been clearly saying that you will compare two value, and in which they are saying ITC, proportionate ITC. But in the stock, there is no corresponding 18.6 which is applicable on myself. And if I able to establish that there is a no market value, I can say no GST.
Okay. No,
Or
but
let's
we
say
have
you are
to,
saying, sorry,
don't we need to tax or pay equivalent amount on the invoice date? Like there might be some condition, I don't remember, but it would be the amount as per an invoice as well. As such, there is no such condition of paying invoice.
so voice is again not clear. If you could do, if you could repeat, then it would be appreciated. You were saying something that something is not able to recall. What was that point? So next, last provision, Rule 34 and 35. Rule 34, when the rate of exchange other than Indian rupees, then I can say if I'm doing the transaction in the foreign currency, then what would be the value? Rate of the exchange for determining the value of goods. See here, 2 points to be remembered. First is rate and second is date. So which rate you will apply? I can say whatever the rate which is being applied in the custom. Okay. Whatever the rate custom is being giving, Central Board of Excise and Custom, CBIC is being giving, that rate I will apply. But of which date, that is important. So they are saying that date you will apply, what is the time of supply. So if I recall the time of supply for the goods, the date of invoice or last date on which invoice is required to be issued. So whichever is earlier at date का rate लेना है. You need to take the rate of that date. Which date? Which is the time of supply. So they are saying, in case of the goods, you will take the rate of the date which is time of supply for the goods and time of supply for services. So for services, they are saying generally accepted accounting principle, whatever the rate you are using for accounting, that same rate you will apply. But of which date? Date will be section 13 ka date. Last is inclusive price. So inclusive price means value of the supply if it is included in the matlab ki value including taxes. So I can say inclusive, I will apply the backward calculation. I know the backward calculation. So what is the backward calculation? Value inclusive of tax. Let's say the total 10,000 rupees is there, including 5% tax rate. I can say 10,000 divided by 105 and multiplied by 5 to determine the tax. So value of the inclusive tax multiplied with the tax rate divided by 100 plus tax rate as applicable. This situation generally not arise in section that I have written. So you can refer. So by this, I have completed the 6th chapter. So I'm sorry that I could not take the practical case study. I was planning to take certain case study, but I could not take now. We'll do the same.
So just a second. Fine. Yeah, I was saying that is there any provision for reversal of ITC which we have taken, like on invoice we have taken an ITC. After 6-5 years, we are depositing off. So whether we need to reverse that, as it's not part of, as it is not part of our business right now, so it's not included. So there might be reversal applicable in this such case.
Correct. So there is a provision in the GST section 17 subsection 5 clause H only, which could attract, which says that if you are disposing the asset as a free gift or free sample, then you need to reverse the ITC. But if I am not coming, see, that clause is not applicable whenever I'm disposing my asset, not as a free sample, not as a gift, because gift is the voluntarily in the nature. Okay, I'm giving to the kabadi wala, let's say, because it is not in use. So it is not the gift free sample. Let's say I'm giving it 100 rupees, or I'm giving the free of cost. Like nowadays we are giving the electronic without any consideration. Even we are making the payment. So in that case, if it is being covered in the clause H, I do agree, Raj. If it is being covered in the clause H, that is also wider applicability. So then you need to reverse the ITC. But if it is not coming in the clause H, then I can say open market value, and which you are saying 0. So therefore I can say no requirement of making the payment of taxes. So clause H we will analyze in the ITC chapter ka revision whenever it will come.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you. So you are saying notes of any class by early batch are not available in the BS statement. So notes. I will look into Chandrasekhar. I will look into if it is not, I will do the same. So any other question which I can answer? Admin panel dispose. Okay, Raj is asking. Any one question? Another 1 minute is there. If you have any question, you may ask. You can unmute yourself and then ask the question if you have anyone.
So I have one more question. Like, I have one. Like, there is a notification, which is a principal notification, which is providing rate of taxes, which is 11/2017, right? For few months after, there is an entry in it, which changes the rate, which reduces the rate. Like, for example, for 5 to 6 months, the rate was different, right? And after that, the rate was 12%. So the rate was charged by 6%. So there was a short levy of charge by 6%. So we are stating that there is clarificatory in nature. Like the next amending principal notification, the notification which has reduced the charge, we are stating that they are clarificatory in nature. How far it's valid?
The notification have the clear applicability date. The 3 possibility would be there. First possibility, they are talking about retrospective date. First example, then no doubt. Second example, they are talking about this date we will apply. Let's say it is being inserted on 8th May and it is applicable from 1st June, let's say. So it is clear. Third, if it is silent, then there is a couple of judgments are there. The date when the notification is published in the Indian Gazette, that date will be the applicability date. There will be no notification which talks about the clarification in the nature. Clarification would be normally in the circular, by way of the circular only. If there is a circular, like there is a multiple, like royalty, do we need to pay the GST or not? They have issued the circular.
No, actually, we are referring to some judgments which are similar on the basis like there are a few topics there are a few judgments in income tax and other acts which widens the scope. Like for example, there are a few exemptions to seaport areas which are located in port areas, and the state name was not there. But after notification, the state name was included. So there was judgment that we assume that the state name was assumed in the first priority place also. So there are some judgments which says that the notification
both is applicable. There are multiple judgment in the excise duty or the service taxes. It might be. See, judgment we cannot discuss in the class because there is wider applicability, wider point we need to analyze, and it will be not academic. So we can limit our scope to the academic purpose only. But I do agree there will be the work both way side. But majority is clarity is there that the day when it is being published in the Gazette, it will be the applicability date. But we have to see the judgment for better clarity.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Chandrasekhar, I will look into the same, and then we'll try to give the before the next class. I will coordinate with the BOS team and then we'll do the needful. Okay. And any for doubt in the IDT. So I think in the Chandrasekhar, there is a email ID which I will provide in the next class or today. I do not remember the ID, but there is an email ID which you can mail. You can ask the question with respect to IDT. So our board of studies team, either they will answer, or if they require, they can further. We all are doing the analysis and then we are giving the reply. But yes, for IDT, there is a specific email ID which.
Yes, sir. The email ID is idt-final@icai.in. Or otherwise, students can ask their query through BOS mobile app also. There is a specific section in that app of ask your query. So there also you can go and you can ask your query.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can you please confirm that this email ID which I have written in the chat is correct?
Yes, sir. It is correct.
Okay. Okay. So Chandrasekhar, probably you have received your answer. That there are two ways to communicate. You can ask, you can use anyway, but definitely it will be answered. I have never come across that the query is being asked but not answered. Regarding the, I'm talking about the GST related queries, IDT related queries. Yes, sir. And I will look into your point that you have given in the chat, another that notes related point. I will check and I will ensure that prior to the next class, we will look into the same. Okay. Thank you very much. Good night to all of you. And thank you, the Board of Studies team, to stay till late evening. And goodbye to all of you. We'll meet in the next class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sir, over. Thank you. Good night. Good night.